Anyway, okay, so we are now streaming, and I just need to get the chat fixed here. They press pop out, and I need to. So there's sort of a timer when it comes to Gibbs, where every time you pet him, it sort of resets this kind of dead man switch timer.
This
Um,
attention-seeking like subroutine.
right, exactly. He's got like there's like a 30-second cooldown, and you can sort of touch him, and then you can do other things. But then if you don't get back and touch him in time, he'll start causing problems. Um,
This is actually my relationship style also. I need attention and like physical
that's
affection and validation at all
right,
times.
right. Yeah, that makes sense. And if you don't get it, then you cause problems.
Yeah,
Hello,
on
100.
purpose.
100. Welcome to the chat. I'm also going to put on just some light music. Last time I just had this SNES music on, and it was really good. So I'm just gonna go put it on again.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah. Also, I can't see the chat, so like I'm just gonna take, I'm gonna take it on your word that these like spectral voices and like figures that you're calling out are actually happening in the chat. Hi all. I've never done this. It's
you,
gonna fucking. Oh dang! It's gonna own.
that didn't take long. Yeah, just there's the link. Just go join the chat. Um,
Oh, there's a link. Wonderful. I'll
yeah,
definitely
this is a
recommend you next time
public
in future.
stream. This is a public stream. Imagine that. Oh,
The dream of public access has been realized at last.
Texas is the world's largest producer of metal buildings. Wait, I'm sorry. Do you get that reference?
Oh my god, crap! I'm echoing back at myself.
Oh yeah, you should probably mute the stream. Anyway, have you seen? I don't remember if you've seen uh, 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 the David Byrne movie, True Stories.
There, I have not. It's funny. I've
Okay.
actually wanted to watch that for years.
There's one specific scene from it. Let me see if I can go get it because I am always thinking about it.
This is funny because I was driving through Texas in 2005, and like we passed by this assortment of domes constructed by the Millennium Dome Corporation, and like one of the really there was
Beautiful
one that
name,
was
but
just
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
yes.
The millenn.
Yeah,
What was
I
that name
apologize
one
for
more
that, sir.
time?
The Millennium Dome Corporation. They used to have a really great Web 1.0 website
That's an
where it was
absolutely
like
wonderful name.
they would show you all the domes they'd made.
Right.
Unsurprisingly, there were a lot of like sports arenas and middle school gymnasiums and so on.
Let's just see the Millennium Dome Corporation.
Unfortunately, you have to filter out like London, UK.
That's not a problem.
I
Millennium.
really hope. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Uh, and yeah, like presumably they don't have a website anymore.
Yeah, I
But
really hope archive.org captured
I
this.
was gonna
The
say,
best
yeah,
part was that they painted like the sort of string of domes that they assembled the other domes in, like a caterpillar, like a little cartoony caterpillar. Like this, I mean, I saw Austin for the first time. Yeah, it's gone.
I don't know if that was actually their website is the problem. I literally just went in there and typed that in. Um,
I'm pouring one out at the crossroads for the Millennium Dome Corporation, which
I mean,
surely was founded
frankly,
by people who like had lifetime subscriptions to the whole Earth catalog.
let's go
I
to
want to just
let's do what I usually do here. Oh, we're on Bing. That's why we can't find it.
oh good
I keep
heavens!
forgetting to change my default to my default search engine. Um,
I
let's go
hope
to
it
Google
was the
Books.
Millennium Dome Corporation.
I'm afraid I don't think it is because I'm not finding any results.
Yeah, you know what? Let me like do a little quick googling because like I'm just thinking like Texas Dome Corporations can't be that big of a product category.
Texas Dome Manufacturer is an incredible sentence.
Yes.
We have Monolithic Constructors Inc. Lots of great information about the monolithic dome homes and buildings.
Oh yes, monolithic.org, of
Oh
course.
my God, they make Hobbit huts.
Perfect. Of
That's
course they do.
that's what they make. That is a Hobbit house. Fight me.
That's a Hobbit house, no question. I I wonder if this is they. This could be they. It could be the monolithic set of the Millennium.
Yeah, they
Um,
do. They are making domes.
yeah, yeah. There's a bunch of like technical information that's going to be incredibly tedious. Dang, those homes look so. I didn't see anything quite that cool.
Oh
I
yeah,
love
you
that
know
it's like,
what? They do make. Here we go. This monolithic dome has a diameter of. This monolithic dome has a diameter of 160 feet and is built on a 24-foot Orion stem wall. Beggs Event Center can accommodate more than 2,000 spectators and a variety of sport and school activities.
I need you to do that for the next like 3 hours while I sink into a narcotized haze on the AT&T Tech Channel website.
No problem, no problem. Yeah, because
That was
that is very much that's the exact voice used in all the like the AT&T Tech Channel, um, and I go to I spend a lot of time on like archive.org, looking
yes.
at like old, not that old actually, but like 60s 70s in particular, like internal military training videos about how to run a boat,
Oh
or
yeah,
or
where
or like
men with like
here's how you repair a lead acid battery.
men with soothing voices describe to me like the future that has been foreclosed on during my lifetime.
Perhaps, but a lot of the time it's just like a lot of the time it's just a guy. A lot of the time it's just some guy that either the U.S. military or like maybe like a railroad operator or somebody. They found some guy who I don't know if I would call it soothing per se, but he is capable of talking,
Is this
for hours about when winding cord onto a capstan, ensure you begin winding with the cord at the bottom of the capstan. An even
okay?
continuous
Are you
wind from the
doing
bottom
this?
to the top of the capstan is necessary to achieve an even, consistent wrapping. Otherwise, the cord may not fit fully on the capstan, resulting in lost effort and repeated effort.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Like that virtuoso performance was not fully like. I didn't. I didn't. I absorbed that in a strange way because I went to a website that I'll paste to you in the location of your choice,
You
Discord
telegram it
or
to me.
yeah.
I
Okay.
hate
Cool.
receiving messages on Discord. It's sort of like whatever the opposite of a present is.
Yeah. This is also going to be the opposite of present because
Oh,
basically
outstanding.
when you join this page, or excuse me, when you like connect to this page, it will autoplay country music at you unless you have
Oh
your Chrome
no.
set up not to do that.
Well, I
So
do have
like
uBlock Origin turned on, and it did block one request. So I have the
I
feeling that I
did
was just
too.
saved.
I did
Um,
too. But basically, while you were like, expounding like, sonorously on capstan winding, someone was like playing a freaking ukulele or something in my ear.
that's
And when yeah, sorry, I'm a
oh, here
little
we go.
thrown off. I need a
Well,
minute. I need like
media
a timeout
autoplay
from
is
that.
enabled, so I'm not sure why I didn't get the country music. Let me
I guess
refresh
I'm
this.
just special. I honestly
Oh
thought you were.
gosh. Oh no, there it
Yes,
is.
there we go.
Okay,
I honestly
unfortunately I
thought
do
you were
have
doing a bit to me.
no,
This is
I
a novel form of psychological torture to like ambush
I
your like
can't
stream participants.
I can't do it because of copyright, right? Because this would be the kind of website. We know this would be the kind of website where they would just have an MP3 that they illegally uploaded. We can be
Yes.
assured. We can be assured that they did not use royalty-free music or licensed music for this. Let me refresh their page here and look at the file that it downloads. If
Oh goodness.
I think
I'm I'm so sorry. I took us to a place here. Like
no, it's all right. It's all right. This is fine. This is what I wanted. Um, the best part is I can't even find it, so I'm not really sure how they're loading it. It doesn't show up as a
why not
media
have your
entry.
life and your belongings intact in a new age dome?
Why on
See,
earth
I
would I
don't
want to
know.
build a dome home? Is it worth my trouble to try? You may be considering a dome for a number of reasons. How do you sort the myth from the truth about domes?
What are the
This is
myths
true.
that we've been
I've spent so much time trying to decide, trying to make up my mind about domes.
look,
And
the police come to your school, your primary school, and they'll tell you a bunch of stuff about domes, and it's just you cannot trust them. None of it is true.
it's true. It's true. I mean, these domes are rated for 250 miles an hour. You read that right. No misprint.
That's why you need to talk to Dome Steve behind the Walmart.
Anyone would think that 250 miles an hour is completely unreasonable. You can't imagine that there's a dome that can take winds that intense, but it's only because you've been lied to, that we've all been lied to. We all think that a dome
We've
can
been lied
only
to by
handle
big
maybe
pitched roof. There is something truly like elegiac and sad about the fact that like they're pitching you on like, hey, you know, build a dome that has like a safe room where you and your family can shelter from like the greenhouse superstorms, when like, you know, 40 50 years ago people were like, you know, build a dome for your agricultural collective that's gonna, you know, and you can reinvent like, you know, the day-to-day life of you know, Western citizens, and like, you know, move radically in a new direction towards like, you know, greater personal freedom and like, you know, environmental sustainability. Like now it's like shelter from the catastrophe we have created. Cool.
I
awesome. I love it.
I like several things about this. Your entire home is your safe room is good. I also like this little sort of hidden. There's sort of a kind of like a riven. Sort of hidden footnote down here, just quietly says there is a lot of info, especially about tornado safety, under the services section. Oh, thank you. I'll go to the services section.
Adapting to the material conditions of contemporary Texas. Like,
yeah. This is fantastic. Financial news for prospective dome owners: it sucks, but maybe getting better. So many domes were built incorrectly by owners in the 70s and 80s, bought from a magazine with no support. You know what those magazine domes are like. A magazine. No, if you're getting a dome, anyone knows you need a handcrafted, quality, professionally architected dome. None of this magazine bought
band magazine dome.
I got a dome from the Sears catalog, and it fell apart in a year.
I bought a dome from a shaggy hippie who sold me like 1/8 of ditchweed.
The thing that's killing me is the dome industry has a huge smudge on its image. Buddy, it would have to have an image. No one knows this exists.
Domes are not big news of recent centuries.
No. This is good. More banks are now accepting new age domes for financing. Stop there. Very funny, right? Damn, I thought Bitcoin was wild. Now you have to wonder, can you put a lien against one of these things, or is the bank just like, buddy, we can't sell that? I'm guessing no. But I also do really like the highest building code authority that exists in the construction world.
The International Criminal Court? They're going to invade The Hague to prevent your dome from being prosecuted under international law.
Actually, yeah. That's a good question. ICC must be
International Construction Certificate.
International Code Council. That's probably them. Okay, I guess it makes sense.
There we go.
But I'm just referring to the fact they end the sentence. The highest building code authority that exists in the construction world. The ICC, and then it just stops. It's a completely new sentence that seems to have no connection to the prior.
The ICC, that body that we all know about, you know, oh yes, like sober nod, you know.
Yeah.
This is, you know, like the very best thing about the internet has always been that it connects you to the obsessions of strangers, like, you know, money making or otherwise. And in this case, I think we can conclude otherwise. This webpage was definitely written by the divorced owner of the business.
You could tell because it says, my blunt and often not politically correct words.
Oh no! Funny.
I like how you just described the person, and then we found proof that the person was that person.
Look, the copy on this webpage, like, I think you could get about 3 sentences in and like derive the intensely, like, you could like, especially given that they've been doing this since 1971, it's like the political and generational and ideological trajectory is fully on display.
This is a cast in. This is a cement cast in place example of a truck lettering phenomenon.
Also, like 1971 subscription to Whole Earth Catalog, 1999 subscription to Reason magazine.
Ugh. I just need to make sure because there may be people watching. I'm not sure who
Oh,
all is
totally.
watching, so there may be people watching who don't know what truck lettering is, and I do just want to establish truck lettering. Truck lettering is when a guy gets divorced and he's so mad about it. Look, I'm right. It's a guy gets divorced, or he gets fired for embezzlement, or just like doing a bad job, or like gets laid off, or whatever, and just has this idea in his head that if he just if he casts the correct legal spell, that this could simply be undone, right? Um, and
Mm.
so he goes and gets a lawyer because that's how you win, right? And the lawyer is just like, it's nothing I can do for you, bud. Like you got fired because you weren't doing your job, or you got divorced because your wife hates you. What do you want me to do here? Um,
There's nothing I can do for you, and also I need you to stop posting about this on the internet yesterday.
well, right, and it always is that guy as well. And so what he does is he no one will listen to him. No one wants to hear his story. He has no friends because of course he has no friends. And so what he does is he goes to Home Depot and spends like $118 on those little plastic stick-on letters, peels one off at a time and sticks it to his pickup truck, always a pickup truck, and it spells out, John C. Roll Joint, attorney at law, is a thief uh, who steals money and does not deliver services, and just the whole truck is just plastered with these. And
Yeah, it's the divorced suburban vehicular Iliad.
I I think that to some extent it is possible that I am riffing on perhaps some mental illness that I shouldn't be commenting on too harshly. I'm not really sure. I don't want to be a complete dick about it. Nonetheless, this is such a persistent phenomenon that without commenting on the person doing it too harshly, perhaps they have their reasons. Nonetheless, it is a type of guy. It is a specific type of guy who does this. Um, and
I
I
mean,
have seen these all over the place, just
oh,
all
for
over the
sure.
place. Um,
Also, like, if this person is actually in Texas, okay, if this guy is in Texas, and he has been since 1971, yeah, he probably hasn't had the best of times, like, at all times,
yeah,
trying to sell people in a dome house. Like, that's a
yeah.
tough row to hoe. I,
There
I
is.
mean,
I,
I'm,
I am going to agree actually with Starlight's assertion that simply dudes rock. I think that I think that is
yes,
an
oh yeah.
adequate. I think that's an adequate description of the situation that we're in here.
Get yourself
Um,
together, man. Move to rural Texas. Start some type of dome company.
yeah, there it is. All right, so I hope this plays all right. This is a clip from
Oh god.
David Byrne's movie True Stories.
Oh heck.
Oh, I'm sorry. I need to rewind this and turn my audio back on because I'd muted it. Oh my God, it's still playing. The music from that website. I can't believe somebody figured out how to put autoplay music onto a Squarespace page. I think that's really an achievement. I
I
wouldn't
know.
have thought they'd have that in their template. They had to have shelled out for professional services from Squarespace to do that. Um,
I mean, I just kind of figured that the dome contracts weren't taking up as much of their time as they would like, and honestly, I'm genuinely sad about that. I want there to be more dome houses.
I agree with that. They're probably perfectly good.
I want to live in a dome if I have to live in a crummy suburban like
Yeah, that's fair.
subdivision.
That's fair. Okay, here we
Give
go.
me, give
All
me
right.
the dome. Yeah.
Uh, oh, you know what? Ah, shoot. I just realized this isn't on YouTube. You're not going to have sound. Ah, shoot. I can't play this after all. Sorry, everyone. Let's go back and look at light bulbs. So,
Yeah. Dear God, let's look like some light
this
bulbs.
is actually all but off topic. Here's what we actually came here to do. So,
Look, I know you were like really passionately taken up by the dome discourse, but we're gonna look at light bulbs like we've been planning to do offhand since like early 2020 or something.
that's true. Yeah, we've been planning on doing this for quite some time. Um, so, I found this website, lightinggallery.net. And this website is a forum. Of course, it's one of those V bulletins that's a whole website. This is a forum for people who are lighting enthusiasts, and there's a group of enthusiasts for every conceivable topic. It doesn't matter what. XKCD sort of touched on this, not not perhaps. It was sort of focused into the absurd. And that's all well and good. I don't disagree that it is often absurd, but Um, anything you pick, anything at all, there is an enthusiast community for it. And what's great about them is that they often know about types that you can't possibly learn exist through any other means. So for fundamentals here, for anybody who doesn't know, because I did not really realize this until sometime in my like late 20s. Um, the fluorescent light bulb is really old. I mean, the concept of neon lighting, of putting gas in a tube and then exciting it with high voltage, goes back to the dawn of electricity almost. It goes back to like the mid 19th century. It's a very old technique. And in fact, I I feel like Rick, you're going to know this. What's the name of those decorative neon tubes that were in all the weird shapes people had in the late 19th century? It was like Geissler tubes or something like that.
Oh, I do not know that. I
Oh
do
shoot!
remember basically like all the stuff from. Yeah, I think we're probably thinking of the same Secret
No, I
Life of
got it. It
Machines
was. It's a
episode.
Geissler
Ooh,
tube.
wow.
I actually knew that. So
Those
yeah,
are the ones that like flicker around,
no.
like kind of
See,
dance.
they
Goodness.
this is an 1869. Apparently, this is an 1869 French physics book, which is,
That's right.
I guess this must have been a painting, huh? Anyway, so in the
People
late
thought this was
19th
worth
century,
painting.
well, in the late 19th century, they would basically just blow these complicated glass shapes, and put different gases in them, neon, argon, mercury vapor, etc. And they would make all these. They're basically very complicated neon lights in
They're so
techniques that.
unearthly.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, right? Like you'd think you'd see this sort of thing on the set of. You think you'd see this on the set of like cheap sci-fi from the 90s. You'd see it in
But
like.
instead, it's like in a Victorian sideshow, like in a circus. Like, they've got
Exactly,
like an
exactly.
absolutely terrible electrical generator, and it's the only source of electricity in like for a square mile.
And
And like this head shop stuff.
exactly. You look, and it does. I think it immediately leads us to the question: why aren't bong manufacturers making these? It seems
I
so
know,
easy,
cowards.
and they could combine them, right? Imagine if you took a
Oh,
rip on the bong and it just illuminated in all these colors in the process. I think they're missing a bet. This is a free
I would
concept. I will
love
not.
one of those.
I'm releasing this Creative Commons, not even BYSA, CCO, right? Anyone who wants this can have it. I'm not going to charge any fees or sue you. Please take this idea and make it real.
Please. I don't care.
Please.
Light it with LEDs instead of like, gas discharge
Yeah, truth be told,
illumination. Like,
like
that's fine.
anyway. But the
Just
interesting thing
sell me
about this
this.
is the interesting thing about these things is that Geissler tubes were produced in huge quantity in the 19th century, as entertainment. They were just novelties. And they weren't actually used as lighting. And it wasn't until the 20th century that anybody actually thought, hey, why don't we make signs out of these, or actually illuminate rooms with them? And
Yeah,
then
and there's. I was
uh,
just gonna say that these are basically lava lamps for the Victorian era, which
that's
is
a
awesome.
really good way to put it. Yeah, this is exactly. Yeah, you're right. This is the lava lamp of the 1870s, right? I mean,
Yeah.
assuming that you'd had electricity laid on, to begin with, right? Because that is the question: is what would you even run this with?
I mean,
Um,
if you basically actually had electricity, like you're probably in the petit bourgeois class at least, and if you put this in your window, like you are flexing on your neighbors, and if you like have this in your parlor for like your like you know Saturday afternoon party or something,
you- you're
like
ex-
or
you're
like
ex-
cocktail hour.
you're extremely right, and I feel like it's always weird to me to accept that in earlier centuries people did have like the equivalent of like extravagant cocaine orgies, sometimes literally extravagant cocaine orgies, because they had both of those things in like the Victorian era. Um,
Oh, ether parties. That was the
well,
thing.
they just had coke as well, didn't they? Or I guess,
I
or
mean, yeah,
had they not produced it yet?
I think Coke was I don't
I
quote
know
me
they
on
had
this, but I
opium.
feel like I feel like Sigmund Freud was actually like a major factor in introducing cocaine to the European continent. Like he was like, "Hey,
Yeah,
look, I found this thing." He was like, William Burroughs going out to trying to find like Yage,
we've gone through it like we've got coke, and we've got what, snuff, wait,
chloral hydrate.
opium, nitrous. We've been through so many drugs here. Okay, so anyway, people were having wild sex parties on drugs in the 19th century. They must have wanted cool lights to look at. So
Yeah,
you
they
have
wanted
to
Victorian trip
know
toys.
you have to know that the notional sort of Richard Corey had these on his boat. So anyway, but
Can't make the joke about international waters, but yes.
anyway, so the Geissler tube was around for quite some time before anybody came up with the idea of neon lighting, and then it took even longer for anyone to come up with the idea of putting phosphor on the inside. But then once they did, that was in the 30s, and it just exploded. And it exploded into the consumer market as well, but I don't think that we tend to think of it that way. So, for instance, look at this guy here. This was either from uh, an upscale hotel or office, I suppose, or it could have been from a home, right? There's no reason it couldn't have been from a home. Uh, and there's no reason that this sort of fixture couldn't have continued to exist, but it didn't. It just never happened again. At some point, we decided that fluorescent fixtures look like crap, and we're not going to do anything about that, right? And so this, from this, we have descended completely to there are no
The
fluorescent
most
fixtures that are
bare,
there's no fluorescent fixtures that are more than powder coated steel. It's just
yeah, it's like
six
stamped steel.
six or fewer pieces of sheet steel with white powder coating on them is the only fluorescent light you can get.
Yeah,
And then you're expected to
and
hide that.
this thing is an absolute like, dang.
There's
It's.
so
I
much
don't want
going
to say
on.
that this. I don't want to say that this fixture is in drag, but like it kind of is. Like it's camp. It's doing a Tallulah Bankhead routine. Like, only like it's in like something about the end cap there with that weird little like glass
I,
flower is
I,
making me think of like the cowboy outfit at a stripper bar.
yeah. Well, I was thinking that because of like all the dangling jewelry situation.
Yes.
So that's sort of where I'm coming from.
And
So
I was looking at those. I'm sorry.
I think this is an aesthetic that is very of its time, right? It says early 40s. I fully believe it, right? There's
Oh
earlier
yeah.
ones in here though. Let's go through a few of these. So this guy here,
Okay. When you showed this to me, like several months ago, I wrote some text about this, and I'm going to say the text now.
do
There's
it.
like skeuomorphic notes on here, with like these like the sort of sh- sheet metal festoon stampings. So like, hey, yeah, your work plan. You are a young woman who has like a awful clerical job in a part of a new office building where like a gargantuan bureaucracy, like either public or private, is like doing more and more of its information processing, and your like otherwise cavernous workspace is going to be lit by these unnatural light tubes so that your employer can save a bundle on electricity. But we've stamped some decorative filigree on the housing so that you do not feel emotionally rent asunder by the white heat of technical progress. There you go.
There it
That's
is.
this lamp.
There it is. Yeah, and it's true, right? Because yeah, I mean the power savings would have been enormous. Few, possibly fewer replaced bulbs and greater illumination. So you for greater illumination for higher productivity.
I mean, this is actually like the problem. Once again, I'm going to go back to Secret Life of Machines, but for the first time in this historical era, you have these office buildings that are being constructed that are just impossible to light naturally.
Hmm.
Like there's these huge internal volumes, and
Right.
fluorescent lighting made that possible.
I
Because it
guess
was
that's more or less
cheap.
concurrent, right? Because I think the Empire State Building, for instance, one of the earliest skyscrapers I could think of note, um, was built in the early 20th, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
I think
think
I
so.
want to say the 30s, maybe a little earlier.
Yeah,
But
maybe a little later, but
at any rate,
definitely
yeah,
like
all we went from obviously prior to electric lighting, virtually all businesses of all kinds had to be lit either naturally or just not lit that much,
yeah.
um, which was very much often the case, I think. But then we went to electric lighting, and of course, a lot of buildings had to be retrofitted. But much like air conditioning, it opened up possibilities that were simply not there before. And whether those were good ones or not is debatable, but they were new, and they were desired by those in charge. And so, yeah, we started building these cavernous buildings where if the power went out, you were going to be in pitch darkness, right? But it also meant that you had no help from nature. The day
Yes.
star had no impact whatsoever. So every single photon had to come from a fixture
For
you installed.
these.
And yeah, the fluorescent light just it made powerful task lighting possible, um, to replace, huge banks of windows 50 feet up in the air on the top of the building that's shown in, through the dust of the woodworking factory. So
You know what a deck prism is, right?
I do, yes. But for anybody who doesn't know, in ships, let's see if we can actually. Here we go. Um, in wooden ships, of course, prior to the invention of electric lighting, the lower decks had no light. So what you would do is you would cut a hole in the upper deck and you would put a glass prism in it so that it was still sealed, but it would take some of the outside light and radiate it out into the internal area. And it is another example of Rick, maybe you can remember this term. What is the term? What is the more generic term for this in architectural lighting?
I mean, a skylight, but like that's not
Non-photo. Ah,
non-photogenic. Hit me.
yeah,
Um, but
that's fair.
but I'm just thinking it's fun to think about an alternate future or an alternate past, even where basically we had sort of office buildings with that handled light the way they handled plumbing in some sense, where you have a very large opening on the top in the roof, and that sort of captures and focuses light down like a ton of like mirrored tubes with total internal reflectance and into like a network of deck, through this like network of like light tubes and into just like a ton of deck prisms. Anyway, that was a really weird like I'm sure I'm thinking about like the old Bruce Sterling article about like imagining a Victorian internet that basically is like all like light bulb displays. Yeah, all right.
So the term I was looking for is anadolic lighting.
Never heard
Anadolic,
about
anadolic is a term that means it does not produce an image. It doesn't take the light and form it into a sensible picture of the outdoors. Instead, it's this sort of idea. You have a room that would be poorly lit by a window, but you replace that window with refractive tiles, and it instead of letting you see the outdoors clearly, it serves the alternate purpose of taking the available light, which would normally be streaming straight in and hitting the floor, and only reflecting from that point, and instead saving the effort of reflecting it off the floor and instead refracting it so that it hits all parts of the room evenly. So this is one of the concepts that existed to solve this problem, but again, it only goes so far. Again, this still works only on the outside of a building. So yeah, we had this very strong need to start. Oh, my VM is shutting down.
Is that
Oh,
what you
right.
want to happen?
No, because it's an unlicensed copy of Windows and it just shuts itself off occasionally. It's okay. I'll restart it. We're all good. Anyway,
Yes, I appreciate the folks who chimed in and were like, oh yeah, like someone in my family actually worked on the Empire State Building. That's freaking cool. I've seen all those photos like that honestly just like cause every part of my body to want to constrict in on itself, of
oh,
like people
absolutely
working on the
right.
high steel in the 30s. And it's like, you're inhumanly brave. Or I guess you just had to do this to survive, which it's hard to see that.
Sort of a split, kind of half of one, six dozen of the other sort of situation. Uh, so,
Yeah, the deck prism thing, I was like thinking about that whole deal where basically they were making deck prisms for developing countries by filling plastic bottles with water and, sticking them through the
oh,
ceiling.
right, right. Oh, yeah, and yeah, Seattle, Seattle was using those in a couple different places, I think. Um, Give
Oh,
me
I love
just a
that.
second.
The passive, the distributed fiber optic solar lighting system. That would be so freaking cool.
All right. So anyway, moving on. Moving
Yes.
on. Also, so there's all sorts of stuff on this website. It's not just old things. Uh, so
I
we're
don't have your screen right now.
I just shared it to you again.
Uh, that's probably my fault then.
If you go look at your Discord window, there should be some icons on the side you can click on to see my screen share.
Cool.
You're kidding.
Okay, I'm there.
Okay, all right, there we go. By the way, for anybody who's just joining, because I do see the concurrent viewers just went up. Hello, welcome. This is my very good friend Rick, who's just very good
Welcome to Light Bulb Hour.
very good at riffing on things. We could probably sit down with any book in the library and find something to riff on in it. It's just they're a lot of fun. And I found this website where people share light bulbs in their collection because there's collectors for everything. And so there's both new and old ones. So, for instance, this one apparently is a combination CFL and LED nightlight.
That's so weird. Honestly, like I looked at this and I was like, it's so strange that this like compact fluorescent bulb is having its chakras aligned by these crystals. Like I had no frame of reference for what was going on in there.
It does that does seem like it does kind of look like those little armbands you can get with the magnets, right?
Also, it's staring at me accusingly because I have incandescent light bulbs in my other rooms, and it's like you're wasting energy. Yeah.
So that one's just fascinating. And then let's see this guy here. Here we go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rejected Starship Enterprise concept.
More of a Vulcan ship, I would say. This is basically what the Vulcan ships look like. But yeah, this is one of the implications of the round CFL. Right, one of the earliest attempts to do compact fluorescent lights was to wrap the light in a circle, and the problem is that all the fixtures that produced were very strange.
if Isambard Kingdom Brunel designed a flying saucer, this would be it. They're a joke for one person.
But look at the 10-pound glass molds on the ends.
Yeah, they stopped doing this, but I bet this looks amazing. Like, I bet this looks fantastic when you power it up. Dang. Is this art? I think this is kind of gesturing towards Art Nouveau, which is interesting. There's sort of a little, once again, a gesture towards like the agricultural with these things that look like grapes on the side. It's like, the horn of plenty of photons hath opened.
You know what I wonder about now that I look at this again is notice the two little fingers that come up and grip the bulb. Those can't be glass. They wouldn't have any give. So could they be glass that's sitting on a flexible base? Maybe that's a little rubber base. Or could this be early clear plastic?
Yeah, it could. It kind of looks like it's not because I would expect it to have sort of degraded a bit more, but it could be. And
so
that's really interesting.
I think it's fascinating to me that I can't even really guess what this is made of. Maybe are there any notes? And there's no notes.
Is this a period? This is a period correct bulb, I think, because like the sort of the lettering on the. I don't know why I looked at this, but the lettering on the tube itself is very of the time.
Yeah, maybe. It's hard to say. I mean, that stuff I don't think changed all that much.
Like there ain't no URL on there.
Okay, fair, but I also wouldn't be surprised if GE just continued using the same factory for 50 years.
God, I love that. That's incredible.
Wait a minute.
Is just like this is the fixture from Saw.
Well, literally, hauntedprops.com sells this fake fluorescent fixture to make the effect of light with a bad electrical connection. Now, we know we can create this effect for real for practically no money with a cheap shop light and dying tubes rescued from the recycling. Can you believe this fixture costs $587? Yes.
That's an extremely. I love the idea that basically like one of the things that you pride yourself on is like knowing how to make like a horror movie flickering fluorescent lamp.
Right.
This
yeah.
Okay.
This is what I was working up to. I wanted us to all get settled in.
I need a second. Like
you need a while actually. A second's not going to get it. Trust me. I've been thinking about this for about 10 years.
If I saw this on the set of like an episode of Star Trek TNG, I wouldn't blink. Like it has intense, like if someone strode into a cheesecake factory and said, "I'm going to bring this up to the current moment," and the current moment was 1993, this would be one of the things that they put up on the wall. I also very much appreciate the sort of like ray gun emitter at the bottom. Like I wish
Also,
we
yes,
see more of that.
Dragon Head, I just want to agree there. This is absolutely a Babylon 5 prop. This is
Yes.
not Star Trek, Babylon 5. This really should have shown up like in the bar, one of the bars. Um, it
Would you describe this as factory pomo?
Unfortunately, I would have to. I would be required to, and I don't know why. I like the etched. I like the
Yeah.
etched glass. That's pretty cool. I didn't actually know that they could get an intense like cobalt blue glass pigment at this time. Um, Apparently this is okay, that makes sense. This is a 4 ballast bulb, so they must be little tiny
Oh
ones.
my goodness, this is actually like from the period. This actually is original Art
Yeah,
Deco.
yeah. This says it was
Wow,
at the World's Fair,
that's so
supposedly.
freaky.
You know, um,
I,
and
I, I
yeah,
feel
so
like basically you could put this in like the lair of a villain in any like
anything.
80, like I'm thinking of like a late 80s movie where basically you would replace, I mean it would be sacrilege to do this and no one should do it, but you would replace like whatever is etched onto the glass there with like, the logo of the evil corporation or like political
Hmm.
entity that this represented. Anyway.
By the way, I do because this was brought up. So we mentioned this. Yes, I did find this the other day, and for anybody who has not seen it, I want to make sure that you see it. Let me find it here. Where's a good image? You know what? Let me just copy
I don't
link.
think I've, I don't think I've ever seen one of these in real life.
This
Like
this
I've
is a
never walked into a doctor's office or like a friend of my parents' house and seen one of that just didn't happen.
this is a dichroic lamp. So basically, you've got a halogen bulb in the. But this was originally sold in 1989. It was patented naturally. You have a halogen bulb, and you have a pair of dichroic filters. And for everybody who doesn't know, you did see that on Star Trek. I have pictures. For everybody who doesn't know, a dichroic filter is one that reflects certain light and passes other light. Not all filters are dichroic. Many just absorb certain wavelengths. So if you have like a deep red photographic filter, it usually just absorbs all the colors except red. A dichroic filter reflects those colors instead. So in this case, one of them passes blue and reflects yellow. The other one passes red and reflects green. So you get a total of 4 different colors off of it. Absolutely fascinating. And yeah, as I said, I do have
Yeah.
some other pictures here. This was on the
Here we
most
have Data in his
toys.
bordello.
Right.
It's
This was
pretty
on
far, sorry.
Star Trek TNG episode The Most Toys season 3, and then it was also literally on Babylon 5 in the pilot episode in Jakar's quarters, I believe. No, I think this is the Minbari quarters. I think this is Delenn. But at any rate, they're wonderful, and let me see if I can find it. I believe that these have actually been. Where is it? They're actually being sold
Oof.
still. There's a company making an LED fixture. Here it is. Here it is.
I did get curious enough to tip into AliExpress and have a look and see if they were selling like dichroic film. And
They
I
should
think
be.
they are. I think
Yeah.
there's some nonsense. There's unsurprising light on like clickbait nonsense
So
fakery, but there's also some
it's
dichroic
like,
film. So if you want to build
yeah,
your own,
you could make your own.
yeah,
Um, yeah. So you could, or you could pay $210 to buy one that's still being made. I'm not really surprised by the price. And hey, I mean, I don't think that picture's real. I think that's BS. But it
it's
is.
not extremely rendered, extremely photoshopped.
Yeah, it does look very Photoshop, doesn't it? Which is odd. You'd think they would be able to just take a picture.
But then
Um,
again, like honestly, maybe under normal light conditions, this actually does look like photoshoppy. I mean, it's not a thing that we encounter in our. Oh my goodness!
yeah. So moving on, uh,
Yeah.
you can
Oh
see there's
wow.
actually one running in the background here, and
See.
we should remember that this is taken with flash. Of course it is,
Yeah.
um, and so these are probably much brighter than they look. Uh, I don't like them. Yeah, they're not good. The through line here, the thing I wanted to point out is that with all these fixtures, they make the implicit assumption that people wanted to look at fluorescent light bulbs, which sort of makes sense. I can kind of see that in the sense that, one, it's a new technology, and two, if you're willing to look at exposed incandescent bulbs, why not look at exposed fluorescent bulbs? But all the same, it seems like all these early fixtures were obsessed with the idea, as you'd expect really for early 20th century technology, they're obsessed with the idea that, oh, it's a new thing. Everyone's going to want to see it, right? Um,
Yeah.
so,
And
yeah,
I'm just looking at this, and all I can think is, love to illuminate my den with the flagship war rocket of Ming the Merciless. It even has portholes. It has portholes.
Yeah, yeah,
This is a
absolutely.
Buster Crab Flash Gordon cereal.
It really
It's a
is.
very
Yeah,
timely reference.
this is straight out of the early 20th century sci-fi. I'm going to get in this thing. I'm going to go to the moon, and I'm going to take over the moon, and I'm going to threaten the people of Earth. And
That depends what the Moon Man have to say about it.
I will destroy their moon in less than 3 Earth hours, which for me is a lot more hours. By the way, this is pretty cool. This is just a picture of a half phosphored fluorescent bulb, which I've seen
Ooh.
before, but every time it's cool. Every fluorescent bulb actually produces largely ultraviolet internally, and you need the phosphor to convert the ultraviolet into visible wavelengths. Another interesting thing is that most glass absorbs the ultraviolet that is produced by the mercury vapor that's in most fluorescent tubes. And so, in order to make ultraviolet bulbs, you actually have to use something other than glass. So they use, I believe, quartz. Anytime you have like an ultraviolet bulb, if it's an actual ultraviolet bulb, um, like the expensive ones that are used for like forensic purposes, or used to be, those were actually made with, I believe, quartz tubes in order to pass the, I think, UVC. I want to say, might be wrong about that. So
I
I do
sorry.
adore the unearthly aerogel glow. However,
I appreciate this. I genuinely appreciate this brief digression into didacticism by lightinggallery.net. It's very public spirited.
well, I mean, I think everybody here wants everybody to know everything about light bulbs, right? So I mean, we're all in the
Yeah.
same. Oh my God.
Oh heavens.
Oh
Oh wow.
heavens. Oh, this week I had to make some tests at the Fluorescent Lamp Works in Erlangen.
Shut up and take my money. I want that.
Yeah, I want
I
that.
want it a lot.
Yeah, hey, can I get a bulb? Can I get a bulb made with that
Can I
Bama got
PayPal
aloe?
you $200 plus shipping?
I like how this one's made with Babmat Gal LU, and this one's made with 840. I don't know what element that is. Oh, okay. I guess these are.
Fluorescent bulb has gay rights, and I am here for it.
That's true. Yeah. You 203 you?
uh,
This was made
Only
with
on the
Lapoda.
weekends.
Anyway, yeah, triphosphor bulbs, that's dope.
Hell yes.
Incredibly
Critical
dope.
support.
This, however,
Wow.
sort of goes to the
Okay.
opposite direction. I'm gonna say that if I worked in an office that had this, I would have spent the entire time feeling like I was working under a guillotine. It just looks like an instrument of torture or death. It's a brutal, unearthly, inhuman kind of object.
Love
And
child of a Klingon battlecruiser and a barbecue grill. I, there's a
yes,
lot going on here.
by the way, this is described as a number of these are described as being preheat type, and I'm terrified by that. Whatever that means, I don't like it. I suspect it actually it's like the old the desk lamp that you had where you had to hold the button for 4 seconds before you could ignite it.
Oh sure, I remember like my dad's like task light in his basement. You flicked it on, and then you'd like wait a second while it flickered, and then it would actually. I mean, but that was all of them.
Yeah, well, that was
Um,
automatic, right? But I'm talking about you remember the green fluorescent desk lamp with the articulated arm that had two buttons on
yeah,
top. One was on, one
yeah.
was off, right? And you had to press and hold the red one for like 4 or 5 seconds and watch the ends of the bulb start glowing, and then let go, and it would start.
Also, sorry, we have to talk about the fact that like the owner of this hell lamp
Yeah.
has like a model of a helicopter on their
I,
shelf
I,
because of
I
course
don't
they
think
do.
that's a model. I think that has a gas engine in it.
Oh, I think you're correct.
Yeah.
Holy heck, that's completely true.
They're
Wow.
living their best life, to be frank. I wish I was that cool. I mean,
Same. Profound dad energy, but like,
right. What
yo, if
if you could
if
rock
whoever
it?
owns this,
I um I
call me. I want to talk about your helicopter.
I once again, I don't want to make fun of people. I'm not trying to suggest that anything really about, but there are people who are doing this sort of thing that are not doing it the way I would, and I don't really understand how their life works. Basically I hope they're doing okay because it seems like they might not be. And in particular, I always think about whenever I'm looking at stuff like this, I always think about this guy who has a ceiling fan collection. And the thing about ceiling fans is you can't collect them on the ground. Um, and so
Mm.
instead, you kind of have to have them up. And so I guess, wow, there's more
It is
people than there
said
used to be.
that the eyes are
Um,
the wind.
oh, sorry, let me mute this here. And so if you have a ceiling fan collection, you obviously have to have them all attached to the ceiling. And it very much is it's hard, it's very
Now you
difficult to
have a
look at
fan
it.
room.
Yeah, it's very difficult to look at it and not think of the phrase long suffering wife. I don't.
See, I was trying not to say strong divorced energy, but like, I mean, and like, don't get me wrong. I've made bad relationship choices. I have strange passions and weird collections of stuff that no one should collect. So like, my heart goes out to you, bud. Like, I
Right.
see you.
And
You're
and the thing
valid.
is, I have, oh my God,
Holy heck!
there's a 19-inch rack in my office that's loaded with VCRs. Who am I to speak, right? But this seems like another level because this room used to have a ceiling. Um, but it's
Yeah,
just
but that,
impractical. You couldn't just keep punching holes in it and trying to run wiring through it. So
wow.
eventually it makes
I,
sense to just rip it out. But so I
I,
oh, and
I'm sorry.
look at the pedestal fan collection he's got on the shelves over there. Take me over there, man.
I mean, yes, but also we need to talk about the F-117 stealth ceiling fan that we just passed, and
Okay,
like the
let's.
other.
Oh, this one
Yeah,
here.
that.
Yeah, yeah. What's the story
Wow.
there?
That has extremely powerful. Like, I don't remember like walking into a villainous 1980s corporate conference room that had a ceiling fan, but if it did, that would be the fan that it would have.
This hangs over the desk of the bad guy from Tron.
Yeah, exactly. Like Encom buys those in job lots.
But yeah, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not dunking on this guy because if I knew this
Heck
person,
no.
I would want to go. I would want to go to their house. Now, I should be clear. I don't know if this is a. I don't know if this is a. This one looks like it could be a facility rather than a home. I have seen a couple other
Mm.
videos and photos from people where it's their living room, and I guess what my takeaway is in life, sometimes you get interests like this where you think, I wish that I could collect. Um, I wish I could collect vintage radios, but they're huge. I'm talking the floor standing ones. Where am I going to put them? I wish I could. I've been thinking about collecting vintage razors, like not all types, just open ended, all of them, right? Straight, safety, interchangeable blade, early disposables, and particularly electric shavers. There's a whole galaxy of. Did you know? Did you know that there was a entire galaxy of gendered electric razors?
I feel like I could have derived that from first principles, but I did not know that. And also,
There were tons
this
of
could be a
them.
lot of.
Um, and I was looking at them, and they're fascinating because they all look like perfume bottles.
Oh my
Which
goodness,
I
they really
guess
do.
it scans, right? Like this one here, Lady Sunbeam was one of the major brands, and I mean, I,
That
I
pink is.
I guess a lot of it I guess a lot of it has to do with trying to fit into the specific aesthetic of a lot of sort of
Okay,
powder
that
room style
owns.
setups. Yeah, no,
I
they're
love
super
that.
cool,
I
right?
want one.
They're super cool, and they all of course have the sunburst design on them because it was the '60s. So what can you do? So anyway, my
Sure.
point is, I would go I would go to someone's house and look at their ceiling fan collection. It's very cool. I just hope they're doing okay. I
Wow.
hope that they're not getting divorced because that would be a bummer. And it's great. I think it's great when somebody works out how to make their life work with this sort of thing. Um,
Yeah, Starlight said in the chat, "Nerds bullying nerds for being nerds." It's like I
no,
want to
no,
like
not at all.
I'm willing to do that, but only with the in circumstances where there's the
Yeah,
understanding that like I can get bullied back for the dumb nonsense that I live. So
yeah.
yeah, I
I
feel
mean, I don't know these
that.
people. I don't want to dunk on them. I'm not trying to dunk on them. I'm just saying that I having had the experience of collecting things that were big and bulky. I used to have a LaserJet 5, a floor standing printer, right? And the strain that that would have placed on my later relationships would have been immense if I had not like realized like, this is cool. I want to have this, but I have to think about the other people in my life. So I just hope that's not a problem that folks like this have, because then they can keep living in the house and I can come visit. Because I would
Yeah,
love.
yeah.
Do you
We'll
know?
bring soda.
I would stand there for 3 hours easy and listen to the owner of that house talk about their ceiling fans, and I would only leave
I
because
would
my
take
feet were
notes.
getting tired. I would have questions. I'd be going, whoa, 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 how's this work? But wait, then how's the coaxial light? Etc.
Okay,
So
you need to show me some of the tabs because yeah, there we go.
no, we'll
I
come
need
back to
that
that. We'll
in
come
my
back to
life.
that.
I'm sorry, I'm just like,
These got unsorted. Oh, this is an example of why collecting becomes impractical, right? Because if you want to collect game consoles, you can fit the entire uh, 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 pantheon
if you want
into
to collect
one 10 by 10
4-foot
bedroom. But if
fluorescent lamp tubes.
it's gonna look like this, it's gonna look like this,
Ooh, wow.
and it's really. I will say that I do wish, and I mean this, I honest to God, this is a dichotomy within me, right? I am having two responses to these. One, precious baby, protect, um,
Yes.
very much, and the other one is I wish to drive a golf cart through it,
Yeah.
because it feels like there's like some sort of I've just got some neuron in my head that really wants to see to it feels like these, you know what it is? Tension. It's tension.
Yeah.
It's
And I feel like
tension.
attention
When
has
I
to do with the opportunity cost.
when I look at a fluorescent bulb, what I see is a broken bulb that is frozen in
Mm.
time and is not procking that encounter. Um,
It's waiting to come into being in some
right,
sense.
right. The fluorescent bulb was born smashed, but
Mm.
has been frozen at its moment of inception and is waiting for its moment in the spotlight to become the current
The
subject of
broken
someone's
thing.
day. Speaking of which, let's see. I do have. Oh, there it is. There it
Oh
is.
no. Oh
Yeah,
no.
the caption for this one is just I hate dry ceilings. I assume they mean drywall. Um, if
Wow,
this
I'm
is of
pouring a
course,
40 out.
yeah, this is of course in their room where they've got their G4 Mac. This was uploaded in 2010, so yes, this was a retro computer at that time.
Current.
Yeah, you know,
Ooh,
oh, and the other thing, we really should be pouring one out because it's not just the bulbs that broke. Look,
it's the fixture too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the fixtures. Oh,
It's a
oh
little
no.
surprising to me. It's like
Uh,
sheet steel. It's like,
no, I would guess that that's cast aluminum or magnesium, or something like that,
oh.
or hell, zinc. It might be zinc because
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
decorative panel, right?
Zamac.
Because you can see, yeah, you can see that underneath that, it's just the modern 6 pieces of sheet metal with a powder coat white paint, right? So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
That's a tragedy.
this is a huge bummer. I wish they'd had safety chains on it or something. Although I guess those would have pulled out too. You can see they use drywall anchors, and again, it's just like it's very difficult to figure out how to work a passionate collection of unusual things that are not meant to be owned in quantity into a normal life. And
And something
this is the sort of thing happens.
I want to sort of say something very brief about like, the places we see these collections happening. So there was a tweet a couple of years ago that was like, you may say that the American suburbs are like, the absolute least efficient way to like, to house people, or like absolutely unsustainable and alienating. But in terms of places to cruise around and listen to Steely Dan and let like a effed up queasy vibe settle over you, they absolutely cannot be beat, which is true. And in the same sense, like suburban homes, like, if you have like a large, like I am very close to someone who maintains a large number of motorcycles. And
Right.
it's like, that person is not going to live in an efficiency apartment in New York City because like these things that are just very, very close to like who and what they are,
Yeah.
will not physically fit there. And like,
Yeah.
this is so,
But
yeah, like
and at the same time, on the one hand, it's like, well, Is that a good use of resources? On the other, it's like, I wish that these could benefit other people. If all the
Yes,
suburban homes that are basically shrines or museums were open to
we're
the
actually
public,
publicly accessible.
then
Yeah,
then a lot of suburban neighborhoods would be wonderful places to wander through, But of course, let's not get into how that's the exact opposite of reality and what they were built to be.
yeah, yeah.
But
Or if
anyway,
basically there's some kind of like museum makerspace. I'm just gonna say real quickly. I'm
yeah,
sorry. Thank
go
you.
ahead.
The guy who invented the American suburbs actually said the words, the man who owns his own communist, he doesn't have enough time. And you
You
see
cut out. You cut out.
basically,
You need to repeat that quote again because it was important. I do know that one.
yeah, the man who owns his own home can be a communist. He doesn't have time.
Right.
And when you basically have enough time somehow, because like I guess you're retired or something, or like you just have a fairly cushy gig, and you sort of like decide to pour your life into something. I mean, I have both respect for that, but also it's like I wish that there was like a way to sort of bring that passion and these physical objects into society in some more meaningful way. Anyway, let's look some freaking light bulbs
It would be
before
nice
I
if we
go
didn't have
off.
to throw everything away because no one can afford the space in their little personal struggle to in life to store these things and care for them.
For
Um,
real.
and so uh, when I look at these bulbs, I see 500 smashed bulbs.
Yes.
Um, and when I look at a fluorescent bulb, my first thought is, okay, I have just begun protecting this bulb from being destroyed. That's my job now. I
You're a
don't
parent.
want it to be my job, but it's been imposed on me by being within my sphere. There's a legal term, duty of responsibility. Um,
Mm,
if you if you see somebody who is about to like get a piano dropped on them, you have a legal duty to tell them there's a piano being dropped on them. By walking into that situation without any voluntary choice to become part of that person's sphere and the whole interaction is going on over here, the law has agreed that you don't get to choose not to interact with that. You are expected by society to do something. When you are around a fluorescent bulb, you have a
yes.
duty to protect that bulb, even if it's 50 feet that way. You're aware it exists, and so it figures in to every single calculation you make. Even if you're trying to, you pull your phone out of your pocket, you have to think to yourself, is this going to break that fluorescent bulb over there?
Oh
You're
yeah,
just,
you know where it is the way a bird knows where magnetic north is.
you know where it is because you know where it isn't. And where it isn't is
Hmm.
everywhere except this one spot, and those are the only places you're allowed to be, right?
The place you can stand in safety,
And that's stressful
in moral
enough.
safety.
Knowing that a fluorescent bulb exists is stressful to me. Knowing that
Yeah.
500 of them exist makes me want to just end the situation before I can screw up. Okay, let's just get this over with because
Yeah.
this is 500 mistakes that I've yet to make, and I'd like to just proc that encounter and get it over with. I flip the card, I tap it, and come what may. All right.
God, that's so evocative, and I agree. Anyway, let's look at some light fixtures. Holy heavens.
This is a ballast fire. That's the capture. This is I guess the ballast in this blew up. Not not very much going on there, but there's something going on here. Let me
Okay.
enlarge this. I'm not really sure how to parse it. Right?
Is that? Please tell me that's not fabric wrapped wire.
Oh, it is.
And
Yeah,
and also like there, that's a big heavy hunk of cast iron.
that
And
also
and it's
feels true.
this must have been for like industrial or office markets because it would have not have been that difficult to put some decorative filigree into that mold, but that's not what they did. They just gave you an ingot of pig iron and plugged a lamp into it. Have fun. Have fun at your day job with the Herman Hollerith Corporation, like counting census forms.
Yeah,
Like
this is one of the forms of fluorescent light, which is ballast with light bulb. The whole bottom half here is the ballast, and then the top is the bare minimum necessary to mount the bulb. Um,
absolutely.
so anyway, there's that, and then
Wow.
okay, so these guys here.
Someone had a miserable minimum wage job in front of many someone's. This is incredible.
So this is a thing that General Electric tried to make happen in
Power groove.
I think the 40s or 50s. It's called the Power Groove. There's a picture here. Here it is. So here's the idea.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so if we scroll over here, so there's a longer arc path, which says it gives the equivalent of a 9-foot arc in an 8-foot tube.
You're
Um,
gonna need me a minute because I saw like a human spine inside that like
yeah, it's
that
not great.
diagram,
Yeah,
and also like literally a small being whom have anxiety. Um, I love it.
it's it's
I want one. It's a
so
terrible idea for me to have one.
this is the idea. This is taking the idea that we see all throughout electronics and physics of increasing surface area in a given volume, right? Fluorescent tubes fill a cylindrical volume continuously with a single solid object, but it only has so much surface area. If you instead go in and then out, well, now you have two extra walls in addition to this distance here, right? So you get all that distance and that distance to put phosphor on. So that gets you more total phosphor. Obviously, is going to be a brighter bulb, right? It also it says that the grooves are responsible for exposing more phosphor to light producing radiation. So they claim that this is just more efficient overall. And
It's
indeed,
toasted.
if we look at the path that the glow is taking, it does kind of feel like you can see the concentration points. So, okay. All right. Um I don't know why these didn't take off. I've never looked into it. I'm sure there's a thread on it. Um I mean,
Wattage Miser Electrode, my neutral milk hotel cover band.
oh my
But
god.
but also like show me the machine for making this. I can kind of see it in my head, but I
Yeah.
need to see it. Show me
Yeah.
like the crimping device that sort of like squishes a straight glass tube into these. Also, I reduced end blackening is a really great like ad slogan.
Well, I mean, 60s, 50s, 60s ads all had just wild whenever you see an ad and the ad, much like the dome ads we were looking at earlier, the ad is telling you don't worry about X anymore, and you're like, I have never worried about X. I didn't know you could worry about X.
But now I have no choice to worry about X.
Let's just look up. Let's see if we can find. Wait.
Wait, are they still making those?
No, they couldn't be.
Oh, please.
Well, so
I'm
okay,
gonna
that
buy
well,
a fluorescent
so
fixture.
well that dead ended. It just took us to a search, but this is too recent. Hang on a second. Let's
Daylight.
copy link. Let's go to archive.org and look this up. Uh, please tell me. Please tell me.
Yeah.
Right?
Please tell me that they're still selling power groups in Cameroon.
Would
Like
be
I'll
absolutely incredible. Whoa, it's not archived. Oh, that's rough. Search for all
somehow that
pages
doesn't
under.
quite surprise me. I wonder if GE like prevents you from doing that.
Yeah, I mean they might have a robots.txt.
Right,
Uh,
wow, yeah, Bulb America, like which
uh,
also Bulb America.
Callan, yeah, the one with no phosphors would be emitting some UV, but remember that standard glass blocks the majority of UV, not all of it, but some, much of it, I should say. But yeah, I think you generally wouldn't want to run a bulb like that.
Are
But yeah, it is a demo model.
you people have actually encountered power grooves in your actual like lives? Holy heck, that's amazing.
For what it's worth, this looks like a modern spec sheet for this product. But
Incredible.
I don't know. This looks generated. I'm not sure if I trust this.
Everything except like the drawing looks generated. I mean, the drawing definitely.
Oh, wait, I have not seen a cache link on oh, I guess this isn't Google. This is Ping. I haven't seen a cache link even on Google in a long, long time. Um, oh, it
Yeah, I
just
don't know.
redirects you. Okay, never mind.
PE Current, a Daintree company. What bizarre like gyration of corporate mergers and
Wow, yeah. What did this?
Hmm.
Wow, something terrible happened to GE. They must have sold off their light bulb division. Anyway, so yeah, Power Groove.
they sold it off so that Jack Webb could build like another golf course.
I think one possibility is that Power Grooves were ultimately not successful in the long run. Eventually, people rejected them because they look weird, and I
Yes,
don't want to touch one.
no, I do. I like so like when I saw that, like my first thought of this like just these tubes with all the like little, you know, Boolean bits cut out of them, it looks like a piece of 70s public art in a subway station, and it's exactly the kind of thing that I adore. It also looks like, and like, follow me down this brief rabbit hole. Do you know what a dream machine is in the Brian Geisen sense?
I don't.
Okay,
This sounds
so
like Giger
Brian
is about to happen.
Brian Geisen and his friends were like let's face it, getting baked and reading in the like 40s about like, scientists using like 14 to 7 hertz light flashes to induce like hypnagogic states in people's brains or something. So what they did was they were like, oh, let's do some back of the envelope math, and we'll make a big like cardboard cylinder with like a bunch of cutouts that, like, if you put it onto a 78 RPM record player, like a turntable, and and it spins. Yeah, there you go. That and something it will basically produce like a hypnagogic effect in like everyone who's looking at the record player in Brian Geisen's New York apartment. Yeah.
Oh,
And you
wow.
see
Yeah,
why I
it
thought of
does.
this.
It looks like a dream machine.
Yeah, there you go. Your own portal to inner visions. I actually built a few of these, like, uh, and they kind of work a little bit. Like, I'm not going to tell you that these are as good as drugs, but you'll feel something. What I built, and you can still find like plans for this online. It's not that difficult to get a microcontroller to tell an LED to flash 7 times per second. That's not.
Yeah.
There's actually like also Make Magazine published a thing that like, but that photo, Make
Yeah.
Magazine published this thing that basically like pipes like weird binaural sounds into your headphones while you do that. I have like a few of them still lying around.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah, I mean,
but
it's
yeah,
got this. It's got the energy you're talking about. You're dead right.
yeah, that sort of tail end of modernism feel to it.
Um,
Anyway,
yeah,
thanks
you're
for
right.
following me down this rabbit hole.
I mean, that's what we came here for. So yeah, I don't like these. I don't like these because they have the sort of lotus seed kind of energy. I don't like that they have holes.
Mm,
Um, I, 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 I don't. Okay, I don't like the idea that when I pick this up, there will be a shape on the back that I'm putting my fingers on, and I can't see it.
I love
Right?
that. I wish to caress it. Like,
Well,
I
I'm done
don't
with it.
blame you for not wanting that, but holy crud, I totally want that.
Here's another of these from pretty much another angle, and it just looks trypophobia. Thank you. There it is. It just looks sinister.
It does, and it shouldn't, but it does. Like, it's cheerful and sort of gold, bronze, copper. There's something sort of drippy about the way it looks. The inside of the cap looks, on the far end. Like it sort
Yeah.
of looks like it's leaking something.
Yeah, right? And
It's
the way that the way that the way that the glass hangs down just
mm,
I don't like it. I
yeah.
don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. So,
It also has like an awkward fusion of the Art Deco and sort of a more Art Nouveau
yeah.
organic filigrees. Like that's kind of have the courage of your convictions. I kind of want this. Like I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
I
No.
want that.
Hey, I'm not shaming anything. You can want whatever you want. I just have my opinions.
Join me in the drippy fluorescent lounge. I'd want to like paint this in like some kind of obnoxious like space nebula paint job. Anyway, I just lost your audio.
No, I'm sorry. I'm I'm making a post on my pride. I realized I didn't tell anybody I was streaming over here. Here we go. This is the other. This is a guy's shop, and he's got 107 bulbs.
This guy, this is love to have a shop that's lit the same way as a factory.
Right?
And I'm really kind of not kidding.
Yeah, and actually, this looks like it's a standalone single-story unattached residential accessory structure or shed, and so he's got like you can see the slightly vaulted roof there and the 3 or 4 ceiling fans and whatnot. So
It's a big shed.
it's
Like
it,
you could tell me this is a light industrial unit, and I'd nod.
I would be shocked if this person's not out in the middle of the country somewhere, because you certainly can't get land like that out here.
Yeah.
Also, I do like, have you thought of posting a YouTube video of them all firing up? I would like to
Oh
see
my
that.
goodness. Yeah, please let's see that.
These are all on their own 100 amp sub panel. Given that these are old style bulbs, they're probably very inefficient.
I know that basically, like, the wholesome, flip side of post hog is post wiring diagram.
Did someone ask that? Did I miss it? Did someone ask that?
No, it just popped into my head. I appreciate whoever said it. This looks like it was made by a character in Alan Wake. Nice one. Yeah, Grandmaster Space Bat 100.
Here's someone's 4-bulb T12 lighting up supposedly. Let's see.
Ooh, a 4B T12.
Yeah. Pull the ripcord. Oh yeah!
Oh wow!
Oh,
wow!
that
I'm
was
gonna spark one.
Can we get that?
And something freaky is happening with like the camera.
Oh yeah, because the fluorescent tubes actually flicker, and the shutter is not synchronized to the bulbs. I love that you can hear this video, even though it's at 240p. You can actually hear the tink 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 tink.
There's some beautiful stuff happening with like the flicker and the artifact and the video artifacting, because this is a 2010 video. Very good.
Even for 2010, 240p was pretty rough. I don't know what they captured that with.
More fluorescent power-up videos.
Yeah. Whoa! That's got to be ultraviolet, right?
That's a sibling of HAL from 2001. Like, this is HAL with a goatee initiating its boot up sequence.
Imagine all three of these coming on and the three separate buzzes adding up. Oh, it's got to be good.
I am imagining that, and I'm thinking about reproducing it for my next noise rock album.
Let's all pour another one out for this. This doesn't.
Lost before your time.
Poor guy. Poor guy.
Also, dang, you had been sleeping for hours.
Oh
my God, you can't let anyone in your family into this room.
And then, oh, that's right. This was just sort of hanging out here, and I don't know what to think of it. It looks like it's had better days.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, the person who had a whole barrel of GE Power Groove bulbs earlier, said that they got them from a business that was closing down, and that was in 2010. And I think they said they were in use. So, yeah.
They just don't die, as someone else said.
Presumably. I mean, that's the thing, is light bulbs used to not die, and then that started happening. All right, so moving on to the next phase of our experience here, I would like to look at a couple of videos. So I'm going to do a watch together as soon as I get the dang... Uh-oh.
Let me know where to go.
No way watch together just went down. That's not what's happening.
Oh, no.
That can't be the situation. No. No, it was just working.
There was time. It's not fair. It's not fair.
Okay, I'm going to drop you this link. I just dropped you this link. Can you click on that, Rick, and see if that works?
Is it down for everyone or just for me? Yeah. I am clicking the thing. Bad gateway.
Hang on. Watch together. Alternative. There must be several. If anybody knows a watch together alternative, I would really appreciate that.
There's one called Cast with a K that people were using a minute ago.
Cast? Like that?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, all right. If it works, I don't care. I'm not picky. Open Cast. Is that good enough?
Oh no.
Wait, no. Okay, this is a weird thing. I've been getting misidentified all day for some reason. Stuff doesn't think I'm running Edge.
Are you using Opera? What is happening right now?
But I am using Edge. I'm using Edge. I don't understand what the problem is. I'm gonna download their 80 megabyte app that's just the website coupled with a copy of Chrome.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. I hope I haven't steered you wrong. I remember basically at some point me and some friends wanted to watch anime, and it was just kind of, I don't remember what we settled on, but we definitely tried Cast. I don't remember if we settled on it or not. It is furry at least.
Yeah, we're sold. No account, great account. Okay, hang on a second. I'm gonna create an account.
Please do us a solid, cast fox creature,
Yes,
cast canine.
we need your help. Okay, let me go
Help us
log into
cast.
their. The funniest thing here is just that even if I want to load this up on my I'm doing all this in a VM, which is probably why it's not detecting edge correctly. But even if it were, even if I want to load this up on my real PC, I go and I load it up. It's like your browser's not supported because I don't run Chrome or Edge there either. Anyway, give me just a second, folks.
Other folks have suggested SciTube.
Okay.
SciTube sounds it's like what we'd imagine YouTube would be called in 1987. Also, bless you, Dragonhead, for having a power groove in your garage. Please give it love.
Oh wow, outstanding. Okay, when you first log into this thing, one second. When you first log into this thing, it offers you a room under the category My Parties. Okay, but instead of saying Cathode Ray Dude's Party, it says Cathode Ray Dude's Cave. And I don't like that. It makes me kind of uncomfortable. Cave? Wow, this thing really is furry. What's going on
Join
here?
me, Mr. Chapo, in the non-binary cave. that would be. I guess that would be my cave, not your cave. That's
okay, there we go. Okay, so we can go to YouTube, and I guess we just drop something in, and I suppose we're good to go. So let's do that. This is all so that Rick can be synchronized. Oh no, does it not work with direct links? This is a disaster. This is a disaster.
They really leaned into the furry thing. Like, there's this cute little fox.
And you can't share your screen unless you do a. Oh my God, this is just falling apart. I can't believe Watch Together. Blew up. Oh.
Let me have another quick look at it. See if it's like working now.
Okay, free open source SyncTube, but do I have to log in? Okay, whatever. That's fine. I don't care. I just need to get this back on track. Register.
Man, show business is hard. You never told me it was gonna.
Oh no, it's when live streaming, it's always like this.
Watch Together is working again.
No, you're kidding.
Sorry.
You know what? It actually does not. It doesn't surprise me at all because as soon as they got the notification that it had blown up, they probably had their entire team on it instantly.
Oh yeah, like 20 pagers went off.
Yeah. So many pagers just went off. Okay, we're back on track here. Let me drop in a video. There we go. That's the one I'm looking for. Oh man, everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Everyone, we're all right. Anyway, let me just send this. Let me send this to you there. Dink, 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 dink. All right, go ahead and join up there.
I have joined.
This is the sort of thing that has gotten people fired by Stephen Jobs.
Oh no.
I also like. I'm sorry, Everett. I have had a day derogatory. Listen, you don't need to specify that because we have two separate phrases, okay? If you've had a hell of a day, you say you've had a day. If you've had the opposite, then you say everything is coming up Millhouse. So you don't need to distinguish it.
Hi, Amarin. I like your Twitter.
Okay, Rick, have you joined the Watch Together?
I have joined the Watch Together.
Okay, we are now going to watch a clip. If I could figure out, here we go. We are now going to watch a clip from David Byrne's True Stories. I think about this all the time. You're kidding. You're kidding. This is the day I'm having?
This is the situation.
Okay, I'm going to press this play button and this is going to work.
It's the largest producer of metal buildings. Metal buildings are the dream.
You got to be kidding me, really? I have never had problems with watching. This is just because this has never happened before. I'm having GQ luck. This is incredible. This is incredible. None of these problems have ever occurred before. Okay. I've done it again. All right. We've rewound. Okay. Now we're gonna try one more time.
Oh man, I'm gonna try not to laugh too hard because, of course, this is like the way it goes when we do this like totally.
Apropos of nothing. All right, here we go.
Texas is the largest producer of metal buildings. Metal buildings are the dream that modern architects had at the beginning of this century finally come true. But they
This is so
themselves
worth
don't
it.
realize it. That's because it doesn't take an architect to build a metal building. You just order them out of a catalog. Just pick out your color, the size you want, number, square feet, what style, what you need it for. Comes with a bunch of guys. They put it together in a couple of days, maybe a week. And there you go. You're all set to go into business. Just slap a sign in front.
You're kidding. I turned it up. I turned it up for this purpose, but it's mega quiet. I swear to God, I can't win here.
Turn up for what? No, that was
Oh.
wow. David Byrne talking about like the dream of modern architects was. I
Okay.
need to watch the rest of this movie. It's so good.
It is a wonderful movie. Okay, everyone chill for a moment. I'm going to make a couple adjustments to my audio setup, and we're going to do this again, okay?
All right.
We are going to watch this because I want to watch another video together with Rick, and we need to commentate over it, so it needs to be loud as hell. Rick, stay quiet for a moment. I'm going to turn this shit all the way up. I'm going to turn that shit all the way down, okay? I'm going to come here. I'm going to grab that guy there, and I'm going to boost that. Advanced audio properties. Desktop audio. Going to go way up like that, okay? We are going to watch this. We are going to have a dinner as a family and enjoy it.
I was gonna say such extreme patriarch energy right now.
Don't. It's still incredibly quiet. I don't understand this. How can I win? How can I win? I have everything cranked to maximum. What could be going on? The audio was fine. The audio was fine before I'm going to do this again. It's just not going up. No matter what I do, the volume level doesn't go up. How? How is this possible? Okay, supposedly the volume is turned down in here. That was loud. Did everybody hear that? I'll bet everyone just got their ears completely blown out by the Windows 10 default bonk noise.
I didn't hear the bonk noise at all. Actually.
Okay.
Texas is the largest producer of metal buildings.
How about that? How about that? Give me the update. Do we have anything?
It wasn't super loud.
No, it won't change for you. I'm trying to get it to come to work for the. I'm trying to get it to work for the. That was good. Did we have levels? You could make out David Byrne's voice. We're gonna do this.
It's so cursed that it's set in Virgil, Texas. Oh,
Okay.
no.
Okay. Here we go. Here we go, everybody.
Texas is the largest producer of metal buildings. Metal buildings are the dream that modern architects had at the beginning of this century finally come true, but they themselves don't realize it. That's because it doesn't take an architect to build a metal building. You just order them out of a catalog. Just pick out your color, the size you want, number, square feet, what style, what you need it for. Comes with a bunch of guys. They put it together in a couple of days, maybe a week. And there you go. You're all set to go into business. Just slap a sign in front.
There we go.
Yeah, I think
Did we all
should
get
just,
it?
Like, pause to give like Gravis some love because like this is absolutely heroic. Like man, persevering. Like
This entire movie is David Byrne talking about. The whole thing is David Byrne talking about late capitalism and late industrialization. And I have not seen the whole movie, but I have seen like 4 different lengthy clips from it that people keep sending me. I need to watch the whole movie. But it is nominally an anti-capitalist screed, so I support it. But this particular section here always sticks in my head. It has stuck in my head for a year since it was first sent to me, because I am always thinking about how mass production was, in large part, a thing that everyone wanted, but the effects of it have not necessarily been what people either wanted or expected. So I'm always thinking about that. Anyway, that was I mostly just wanted to make sure everybody had seen that particular video. But what I actually wanted to watch was
Give me 2 seconds. I want to say it really quickly. Like Emran was like, I would love to slap together a metal building, and it's like some of the best times I've had in my life building IKEA furniture and making silly jokes with friends. And like this is like that only for grown-ups. And yes, absolutely, like put me on the Habitat for Humanity, except it's Habitat for Industry, I guess. Or like I can volunteer to assemble large metal buildings. That sounds dope.
you ever built a shed? Because I have. And
I haven't.
it's
Can we get together next weekend and build a shed?
I do need a new shed. My shed's falling apart. What I actually need is a barn / garage. Um, okay, hang on. Roll a d20. There. 10. You sorta you know that it's a movie from like you know it's a movie from someone you should know, but someone you're not surprised you don't, but beyond that, you're not super sure.
I can't even follow that. So sure, whatever. I'm going in cold to what you're supposed to do next.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was referring to Devin here. Can I roll a lore check on what movie this is from? Yeah, that's True Stories, by David Byrne. Anyway, so this is kind of a pivot, but kind of not. I spend a lot of my time looking at stuff like this.
Yeah.
So this is a 1949 what was it called? The Farm Administration. This is a Farm Administration film. And basically I want to say this is at the tail end of the Farm Administration really giving a shit about what was going on in the farms in the U.S., but I might be wrong about that. It just feels that way. You know, this is post-Dust Bowl and everything, and also post-war, so, like, I don't know if they really cared anymore. But at any rate...
we're well into the Populux era. Do I need to turn my mic down at all?
Well, I think no, I think you're good. Well, it depends how loud this video is. We're going to find out here. This is a 13.5-minute video. I want to watch the whole thing. And we're gonna watch it, and there will be a quiz.
Okay, I've got my workbook open and my number 2 pencil in my hand.
But just so we don't stomp over it, we should remember, Rick, if you hit pause, it will pause for me too. So if you have commentary, you should pause it.
Okay, cool.
So let's see. Let's see if we can get the volume level right here. Oh, this one is so much louder than the other one.
Ooh, I like this blueprint style.
So, demonstrating a U-shaped kitchen developed by the housing staff of the Bureau of Human Nutrition and Home Economics.
Okay, that sounds ridiculous, but I want to tell you that I lived in Boston for 15 years, and I know exactly how awful it is to have a shitty kitchen. And when I say a shitty kitchen, I'm talking about a kitchen that had 2 linear feet of counter space, and the sink was in a different room from the frickin' stove.
No.
Yeah, the sink was in a former closet. You stepped into a closet, and I don't mean like a nice modern like post-1980s McMansion walk-in closet. I mean like a like an early 20th century row house closet to do dishes.
Yeah, and the thing is that, you know, so at this point in 1949, at this stage in my God, this is the experience we're having. I finally get it working. And Windows is like, oh, you know what? We should shut down. Okay, so this gives you the opportunity to talk a little bit about the context. So in 1949, one of the things that we had figured out that we could do with businesses and manufacturing and the general streamlining and efficiency improvement of both the creation of goods and services is, and I cannot remember the exact terminology for it, but basically analyzing how people move at work to find out if they're moving in ways they don't need to. This is, on its face, this makes a lot of sense. Basically,
Okay, this is kitchen Taylorism.
you're going to need to expand that term because
Okay.
I'm not getting that one.
So basically, like, was it Frederick Taylor who basically said something, who basically launched the field of like industrial time and motion studies?
Time and motion studies. That is the term I was looking for. Thank you. Yes, that's what we're talking about. Time and
Yeah.
motion studies was the idea of you go to a business, and you watch people as they work, and you ask, do they really need to be moving in all these separate steps? Or I see that this person picks something up, sets it down, then they pick it up again to start working on it. Could we get them to pick it up and start working on it at the same time? How do we do that? And
Yeah, by the way, historically, the workers always loved it when you did this. They really loved it. They thought it was great.
oh, it was the
They
best, right? Yeah.
they
Absolutely
definitely
terrific
understood
stuff.
that you were trying to help them and not to de-skill them
Yeah,
or
yeah,
to bring
yeah.
more surplus value out of them.
Right. Yeah, this was not great. And remember that the housewife is a factory worker. She's a food service worker. You know, the American concept of the atomic family unit was very much based around the idea of housewives having 300 jobs for which they were not directly paid and were not directly allowed to manage the finances. So that was great,
Yeah,
right?
reproductive labor. Google Sylvia Federici,
And
like,
so
yeah,
on and so forth.
Let's frickin' go.
Yeah. We could talk about all of that, but we all probably know the score. So anyway, the point is that this is a job, and applying Taylorism to it made sense, particularly because this is focused on, I believe this is focused on farm. Uh, sorry,
Farmhouses.
there was something else I was trying to think of. Some phrase I was trying to think of, but I can't think of it. So yes, farmhouses, right? This was focused on specifically on that, and I think that has something to do with just how much effort you're talking about there, right? Like it's well, I mean, we'll go into it, right? But anyway, now that we're back, let's go ahead and watch this. Let's watch this film that we've all been
Yeah.
waiting patiently to view here.
On tenterhooks. Also, I really want to read
Absolutely.
that paper about video games and the Taylorization of leisure. Like, I mean, Chivos are basically like Taylorism for leisure. So, anyway.
All right, let's try this again.
These plans were developed. People who are interested.
You've got to be kidding me. We're just having endless problems with the synchronization here. Let's do it again.
These plans were developed for people just like you, having the very latest ideas.
You've
and
got to be
designs
kidding me.
that will help
Watch
them-
Together isn't working correctly, and it's skipping.
Oh, I thought that was just.
I'm
I
in
was
hell.
just going to let that go by.
I'm in hell. We can't actually, now that we're finally here, we can't play the video because it's skipping. This is it, right? Like, this is how I die. This is how I die. Because
I want everyone to Google "Mother and I Would Like to Know" by William Burroughs, because that's the couple that is being like sold this U-shaped kitchen.
my God,
by,
everyone,
like, a genial
everyone.
official.
The great thing is, I know what this video is, but everyone is sitting here waiting to find out what the hell it is that I'm trying to show them. No, this is not in the original video, unless this is a messed up copy of it. I'm just gonna go view it in another tab here.
Yep.
Nope.
Yeah,
Nope. There's nothing wrong with the original video. It's just Watch Together is skipping. I can't win. I
It's true. We did at least get to watch the very important metal buildings. I could listen. I'm sad that I can't listen to like David Byrne talking about metal buildings for another like half an hour.
it's just breathtaking. It's just breathtaking. Okay. All right. We'll try it one more time. What is InstaSync?
Functional house dresses.
Okay. Okay. All right. Visit any room you like, but I have to register.
The camera guy is Homer.
We're going to be here for another 10 minutes while I try and register for this thing and get it working. We're just throwing good time after bad. This stream is already ruined.
Big love to Homer Boer, though, like who struggled against, a true gentleman who struggled against the burden of his last name for over 70 years. I hope he struggled for 70 years.
I'm just.
Yeah, I'm just riffing on the credit sequence.
The stream is already ruined, so I'm going to go ahead and sign up for InstaSync because it can't actually get worse.
Pouring one out for Rabbit. Why do all the watch together sequences or services rather have weirdly furry energy? Like, we've got Cast and the Fox and Rabbit. Yeah. Aperture CRD is doing this as a bit. He's saying register to troll us.
No, I'm not.
What?
Register and register are both valid pronunciations.
Okay, sure, but one of them is crazy and one of them is not.
It isn't.
Okay, I accept you.
I would think so. All right. Let's try InstaSync. Will InstaSync work? It started out and immediately began skipping. It began skipping before I could even register what the program was. But we're still going to try it. All right, everybody? All right? Are we ready?
Welcome to Catherine Ray, dude.
Okay. If it skips in the same place, I'm going to press stop stream immediately.
If that happens, it was a pleasure working with y'all.
These plans were developed for people just like you. People who are interested in having the very latest ideas in design that will help them cut down on the time and the effort that must be spent in doing kitchen work. Since you folks have an old-fashioned kitchen, you know the amount of stooping and reaching that must be done, and the running from one corner of the kitchen.
She said land-grant colleges, but I heard
During
land-grab
the last
colleges.
few years, our Bureau and the land-grant colleges have received hundreds of requests from farm homemakers asking for suggestions that would help them do their kitchen work faster and more easily. That's why we've developed this kitchen.
Well, just how did you go about developing the design for this U-kitchen?
We based our planning on established principles of work simplification to supply storage space and workspace for all the activities that take place there, arranged for maximum convenience and with good working heights and good light. Incidentally, we developed this U-arranged kitchen first, but the principles of planning we used we can apply to other arrangements, such as the L and the corridor type.
Now, I should mention there's some part of me that is wondering if this could actually be the person who is in charge of the organization in question. But I think it's just that there were probably a lot of
How to do a video camera, to manipulate a video camera, and now I suddenly see less than smooth transitions and zooms and so on.
You're not going to believe this, but the stream just broke.
That's weird. It works for me.
No,
I'm looking at...
OBS just stopped successfully talking to YouTube for a period of about 40 seconds. I am cursed by God.
Yeah, you are.
I can't believe this. The number of technical issues I've run into makes early GDQ look like a professional production. This is astonishing. Anyway, well, yeah, but I just got this big old error from OBS that said disconnected, reconnecting, and then YouTube said no data received.
It's our friend, the fluorescent tube, over here in the functional part of the stream.
Wait, what?
Am I ahead? Because
you are
I'm looking
way ahead. I can't believe this. This just just does not end. You know what I think the actual problem is I think that I don't think I'm logged in on the one I'm using the VM, and so it's just completely lost sync. I don't know what to think, but this is not working. Oh my God, I've made a mess of everything. I'm sorry, folks. Wow. This is incredibly frustrating to me. Yeah, to be clear, Rick, I haven't been playing for the last 4 minutes.
Oh, what? What?
Yeah, the video's not playing over here.
Still rolling.
Yep. This just doesn't work.
Wow.
Nothing works. This whole thing isn't working. I have to give up on this entire project.
All right.
I
Well, that
can't
was
believe
fun.
this. I
Take
can't
care.
believe this. This is just breathtaking. I have never had problems like this before. This has never happened before. So yeah. This was sort of what I intended to do, and now I'm completely derailed. I think I'm probably just gonna bail, because now I'm just so frustrated with all this that I'm just gonna dip out because I don't know what the hell just went wrong. I just had 3 different programs completely collapse on me out of the blue. It's pretty clear this isn't gonna work. So I'm gonna have to workshop like how to make this sort of thing function and come back and do it again. Um, I've had a good time, but my head's just completely out of it now, and I should probably go figure out dinner anyway. So
Yeah, legit. Well, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it, and thank you to everyone who like logged in and like some really good stuff in the chat. I really appreciate y'all.
yeah, everything was everybody in the chat was fantastic. All the viewers are fantastic as always. It's just software that is at fault. But what else is new? And you know, of course, the bummer about it all is just that if computers didn't have completely horrible garbage audio management, the only reason any of this is happening is just because of audio management being bad. I should have been able to take the sound from my VM and tell it to get piped to Discord through a separate audio channel from my voice so that Rick could adjust it independently, and then I could pipe the audio from that into OBS independently. But computer sound APIs are stuck in like 1986 and have not changed in decades, so there's no way to do that. And so consequently, the only way for this to work is for us both to play the audio separately. It's super frustrating. Well, yeah, but yeah, like I could try SciTube and then that would work, and then like Rick would say something, I'd realize that we were 5 minutes desynchronized, just like we just did, and over and over and over. I could try any one of these and it wouldn't work. Fundamentally, this is not what I want to do. I don't want to use Watch Together. This is not how professionals would do this. I need to find a different solution entirely to this problem. I have an RTMP reflector that I just need to turn up. It's on a VM, and I could just stream the video there, and then pick it up from the VM, and then send it to Rick, and then control it from like VLC. So I mean, I could do that. It just you can sort of do it with Discord, but it's really janky, and I don't have time to figure it out right now in front of a live studio audience, and have the whole thing fall apart again. And at this point, it's just, you know, I learned how to give training at work. I spent several years on it, and I discovered that the moment that you flub a line, the moment that you go, or wait a minute, I didn't say that right, it's over. You lost everyone. You lost everyone. They're gone. They're gone. Nothing you say after that, they're going to hear, because they're all just like this. And if that's just what's going to keep happening, if every like 2 or 3 minutes I'm going to have to go, oh wait, let's go back, and then none of you are going to get anything from this. It's no, it's over, it's done. I need to walk away and come back after I've like thoroughly tested something offline and figured out how to make it work. Not using some janky, come on, somebody's website. No, that's not what we're doing. Wow, actually, TeamViewer? Really? That works? That's a brilliant idea. I never thought. That's such a brilliant idea, we're going to do it. That's such a good idea that I'm just going to go do it instead of canceling, because that is so good.
I'm gonna do exactly what you tell me to do. 'Cause, like, you're just like,
I'm so angry about this. I'm so angry about this that I'm just going to actually solve the problem using the technique that I've tried before.
Do I need to
that
download
works.
TeamViewer?
You absolutely do.
Okay, it's happening. When Gravis was like setting up the stream, I like sassed him that, like, you know, he was doing all these like weird technical things, and like, you know, I couldn't see any of it because he wasn't showing his screen yet, and like, who download for free asterisk extremely freaking sinister. Okay, it did give me the file though, and I was like, I said something about how he was like manipulating Vannevar Bush's Memex, you know, and like in far away from me, like, you know, just the cold light of fluorescent bulbs was shining through transparencies, and fossil fuels were being burned as gears clicked from position to position. I am setting up TeamViewer now.
The best part about this is we're probably gonna get copped because TeamViewer has algorithms that detect, they have heuristics that detect whether you're using it for business purposes, which arguably I am.
Oh boy.
It's like I probably shouldn't be. Okay, the funniest thing about this is that anyone can now log into my machine because TeamViewer just put the goddamn connection details and the password right here on the screen. Man, that's
Yeah,
funny.
baby.
That is so funny. I'm gonna regenerate these. It just doesn't end, right? It doesn't end. Just the series of catastrophes that occur when you're trying to do something like this is just incessant. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay. What you just saw will not be relevant because I have just vaporized that ID and password. Okay, we're gonna do this again. Yeah, put that ID into the number in the upper right, and then it'll ask you for a password. This is so funny. This isn't going to work. You're not going to get audio, I'm sure of it.
Here we go. 291. I started reading it out loud. I can't edit this.
It is an endless series of nonsense. Oh,
Yeah,
no. The audio should work. To be clear, the audio should work, but have you seen how well things have gone so far? Like,
okay. So, partner ID. All right.
Yeah, the one
I've
the
never
far
used
upper
this
right.
before.
That's fair. The one on the far upper right that says insert partner ID is the one. Awaiting authentication.
Oh, I just muffed the password. It's like
Okay.
the tension of a Bond movie right now.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to turn off your allow control. Okay, and now I'm gonna go play this video, and you're gonna tell me if you've got sound. All right.
All right, what's happening?
You should get sound. Give me a minute.
Your screen is like tiny.
You're kidding.
No, your screen is like a quarter of my screen. You're floating in a dark void.
Double click
There's gotta be
on the image. No dice? Okay.
That's not doing what you would hope it would do.
The best part also is that I'm also like, now my browser is slowing down to an absolute snail's pace, which is making me think that the VM is being overloaded. It just doesn't end. It never ends. Okay. I'm going to press play here. And you tell me whether you get audio.
I have audio.
You're getting audio? You're kidding. It's actually working?
Yep, I'm like, once again, like, you're in a tiny window, but like I can roll with this.
You can make out what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got my face pressed to the screen like I'm watching a 13-inch black
Send
and
me
white
a
TV
screenshot of your
1970s.
desktop. I have to understand what's going on for you over there. Send me a screenshot. We're going to welcome everyone. We're today we're going to be troubleshooting Rick's computer. You're live on stream. You don't get to watch. You're going to listen. This is a radio drama of me troubleshooting Rick's computer, and this is being saved to my YouTube account for posterity.
Oh God, I have to make sure that there's no like scary tabs in there. Like, but no. Okay, cool. There you go. That's what I'm getting. Enjoy.
You're absolutely right. You know what? That's good enough. Okay,
Yeah,
everyone.
it is good enough.
We're gonna watch this video now. Get ready.
It's happening. Oh, dope. Thank you. You can't touch us, Microsoft. It's in the public domain.
Really? There we go. Sorry, buddy. There we go. Now the video's back. And now the audio levels are too low. Do you see what I mean? Can anyone hear the audio? Is it clear?
I could hear you until you paused it. You're probably asking the internet.
What? What is going on? What? The video wasn't playing, but there was audio? Does everyone understand that, like... Does everyone understand what just happened there? It wasn't playing, but the audio was coming from somewhere. We have now spent a half an hour trying to play a YouTube video. And at every single step, something has gone wrong that I have never seen go wrong before. This is so cursed.
I think you should not invite me back again, which sucks because I've had a lovely time. But
apparently, yeah, it was just the same few seconds of the audio over and over. We are all computer users. This shouldn't be possible. I'm going to have to mark this video as unlisted when I'm done. Because this is such a hash. It was okay earlier, but oh my god. Okay?
I can hear it.
These
It's happening.
plans were developed for people just like you. People who are interested in having the very latest ideas in design that will help them cut down on the time and the effort that must be spent in doing kitchen work. Since you folks have an old-fashioned kitchen, you know the amount of stooping and reaching that must be done.
What is going on
and
with
the
her
running
hat?
from one corner of the kitchen to the
Right.
other.
She looks like a painting.
During the last few years, our bureau and the land-grant colleges have received hundreds of requests from farm homemakers asking for suggestions that would help them do their kitchen work.
Keep hearing this
faster
as
and
land
more
grab
easily.
colleges.
That's why we've developed this kitchen.
Well, just how did you go about developing the design for this U-kitchen?
We based our planning on established principles of work simplification to supply storage space and work
Yeah,
space
Gravis, you
for
need to
all the
ban this,
activities
like-
that
I
take
took care of
place
him.
there.
Person.
Arranged for maximum convenience and with good working heights and good light. Incidentally,
Is this the situation that I get the technical issues resolved and now some jackass comes in and starts distracting everyone? Is it obvious to everyone yet that God does not want me to play this video? Does anyone disagree with me here that I am clearly being told I am being final destinationed right now?
Oh, heavens.
We are doing it again. We are going to watch this film.
maximum convenience and with good working heights and good light.
Yeah, I agree. You should divide
Incidentally,
it.
we developed this U-arranged kitchen first, but the principles of planning we used, we can apply to other arrangements, such as the L and the corridor type. Laboratory research in our bureau and in the state agricultural
I love this.
experiments has made
I want
evident
one of
many
those.
of the requirements.
Laboratory
Cheerful.
cookie cutting.
For example, we have
NIST
learned that more
cookies.
counter space is
Perfectly
required
Yes.
for the making
Okay.
of cookies
Sorry.
and
Let's
bread.
go back. Let's go back for a moment because this is what I actually wanted to talk about. This is what we're here for. Look at how they've marked off the different counter widths, right?
Oh my god, I love this.
They are
this is
trying
ridiculous.
they're trying to make an empirical kitchen. This really is time and motion studies, right? They're finding out that yes, the housewife tends to put the sugar down 42 inches to the left of the counter maximum. We don't need to go past that. We can have the counter be precisely 42 inches wide and save 6 inches of oak.
We're trying to bring our mean time between biscuits down by 30% by end of quarter. So I think they're making biscuits.
MTBB. Okay, I'm going to credit all of the work that I've done to make this happen. All of the misery is okay because when I finally hit play, Rick immediately said mean time between biscuits. It's all right. I'm not upset anymore.
Please don't write in the newspaper that I got mad. But yeah, I thank you. Thanks for persisting.
This is required for the making of cookies and bread than for any other mixing operation. Experiments have shown that we need at least 36 inches and that 42 inches is a more desirable length for the mixing counter.
I like these letraset letters
Different
floating on
kitchen
top of the
jobs
wood.
have been studied.
Also,
Oh,
I want
this-
that
Most
round
comfortable
bottle.
working
What?
height for each. To obtain different
Yeah,
heights in
yeah,
our
bro. I got a
kitchen,
standing desk
we
in my
use-
kitchen. It really reduces my MTTB.
The best part about this is that at first you think, okay, they got triplets, right? I mean, it was the 40s. But
How did they do that?
it's three different film strips. If you look right here, you can see that there's a a, a discontinuity, and if you
Wow.
look, it's hard to see, but this basically they shot 3 times and then put it all together in post, right?
That's amazing. I did not know you could do that.
Well, right, because it's just you just mask off part of the film and then play the second one next to it, and then you mask off part again and play the third one next to it.
Wow.
So it's the same woman doing all 3 of these.
Pull-out boards.
And they didn't ask her which one was best.
We
They
designed
measured
revolving
instead.
corner cupboards to make the greatest use of available space. These bring things out in the open, so they're easily seen.
It's in this guy's
and
contract
reached.
that he never talks to the women in the test kitchens.
Models for many features were made and experimented with.
Yeah, so look at the
Some were
piece of
used,
string
some discarded.
hanging out in the back of this.
Yeah.
Good lighting is important in the kitchen.
Yeah, here we go.
To obtain this,
Yes, our
we
friend.
developed a design for a homemade fixture, which would enable the farmer to use modern lighting at minimum cost.
Right, because you didn't want
A
to go down to the
shallow
lighting
wooden
shop and
trough
get
in
rooked by
which we
those
mounted
charlatans. Like, you know.
Well, that and just, the fact that so at this point in time, the idea that people would build and modify their own homes was very much not optional, not a fun little thing you could do, but a thing that a tremendous number of people did as a matter of course. In fact, the tail end of this sort of thing might have been in the gotta make sure I preface this. The tail end of this sort of thing may have been in the incredibly racist, incredibly bigoted Levittown project, which essentially invented the American suburb, which the design of the basic home, as I understand it, that was sold in Levittown, which essentially invented the tract home, the idea of not invented but perfected the tract home, the idea of hundreds and hundreds of completely identical houses built out of 2 different models, like tops. You got one or the other, and at least one of these models, you had a first floor and a second floor that were all identical, and then the third floor, which was the attic, was unfinished. And the idea, ostensibly, is that it would give the homeowner, who was almost unquestionably a returning soldier from World War II, something to do. It would give them some time. It would give them a project to fix up the attic, finish it, put walls up, etc., and then rent that space out to a tenant. I believe was the suggestion that I read. But
Or you could have like a workshop where you made furniture and sold that or whatever. Like, you're going to be busy.
right, but that is specifically what I read, is that you could turn it into a profit center, right?
Interesting.
And I don't know if that's true or not, but at any rate, the idea was they left it unfinished specifically with the intent that you were going to finish it yourself. But also, I want to say that at this point in time, anyone with a farm was expected to be doing a lot of their own basic woodworking. So the suggestion here is that instead of buying a finished fluorescent light, because again, these are still people that are probably operating on a shoestring budget, all of this, these are meant to be plans that you bought and then built yourself, if I'm understanding it correctly, right? So the
Right.
idea was, if you're buying fluorescent fixtures, you're going to have to get them sourced somewhere and brought out to you in the middle of nowhere, which might have been extremely difficult. But getting just a fluorescent light consists of literally nothing more than these 2 gadgets and then a ballast, and all you need to do is put them somewhere. Now, obviously, the ballast is a bit rougher to. It's heavy, right? But it's not 4 feet long. Getting an entire fluorescent fixture shipped out to you, or God forbid 4 fluorescent fixtures, that's 4 4-foot fixtures, right? You can't collapse them. But just the ends and the ballast is only about yay big. So 4 of those is like the size of a large loaf of bread. It's heavy, but it's a lot more practical to ship. So I suspect ship and to stock, right? You might actually be able to get those at your local lumber and feed store. So I think these were the notions here. That and the fact that you didn't want a kitchen that had these big, ugly steel fixtures hanging out, right? You wanted them to be integrated. You didn't want the lighting to be just hanging out going, hey, there's some fluorescent bulbs here. Because this was 1949, not 1938. So I think the point is that I think that the era of fluorescent bulbs being treated as an aesthetic feature rather than as something to hide, sort of the second tier lighting because you needed it. I think that had passed. And then at this point, fluorescent lights were not considered sightly. So if we watch this.
40-watt
Hold up, I want to say real quickly.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna avoid going off about housing policy and about like how nobody should Google Red Vienna, or like think about like I'm not gonna do that. However, I will say I am absolutely an Alice Caldwell Kelly stan, and Dragonhead. I agree, everyone should be watching or listening to. Well, there's your problem. Absolutely amazing.
Tori was on that apparently recently, and I don't really do podcasts, but apparently this was a big deal and everyone was excited about it.
I'm so freaking excited to watch that. I'm paralytically excited to watch Victoria talk about the Concorde. Holy heck!
But it's funny because, of course, this happened, and I was then told this was a crossover point, and now I need to go on there, which I don't know, maybe. I've never listened to it, so I think I'd be pretty out of place. All right, so in this part, they're explaining how you can build these yourself.
In which we mounted 4 40-watt fluorescent tubes, was hung 8 inches from the ceiling.
I did wonder
above
why
the
it
work
looked so
centers.
incredibly bare and sparse.
And finally,
That
our
makes
kitchen
sense.
began to take form. The units for each activity were put together.
So what they've done here is look up top. They've constructed this quad fluorescent fixture, right? It's just painted wood with 4 sets of ballast and fitting, right? But notice that the bulbs are not exposed. They're obscured. I don't know if it's indirect light. I think they're just on the back so that they radiate out towards the work surface, but not out towards the rest of the room. And it looks to me...
work in this kitchen.
That's the thing. I'm sorry. Let's make this absolutely clear. This kitchen rocks in almost every way except one, which you'll know it when you see it.
Well, I mean, like, I would like it to not look like a hospital as it currently does, despite those curtains. But,
you could put a coat of paint on it. I agree. I also, just finishing up the lighting bit, they've got the 4 fluorescent fixtures up there, and then I think that what I'm seeing there is another round fixture right around here. That looks like a round fixture to me. I actually don't think my mouse shows up on stream. Maybe it does. And I would guess that that's probably incandescent. So that's probably, you use the fluorescents for the task lighting, and then when you finish cooking, you turn those off. You turn on the incandescents, and then you invite the family in. So I think I think we can say that by 1949, people were fed up with fluorescents and were not sold on the idea that that should be how they light their home. Now,
so you had to hide your shame.
I think that's very much what's going on here. Whereas, the fluorescents are hidden, whereas the incandescents, while there is a diffuser on them, presumably, are very much more prominent.
To secure an orderly sequence of work.
Orderly sequence of work.
To take care of the preparation of food, eating, clearing, and some food preservation.
I must say.
Oh, check out this piece of work.
Oh, wow.
As a convenient place
I feel
for
like
the
it's
telephone,
like staring at me judgmentally
and for
while I talk.
making out menus and market orders,
While I talk on
we
it.
also included a planning center. The planning desk is actually a drop-leaf table.
This is the nerve center of the
which
planned
can
economy that is the kitchen.
I mean, basically.
This is the kitchen Goss plan, and honestly, that's kind of dope.
Mm-hmm.
A tea cart or an extra work or dining table. By placing a large picture window across the end of the kitchen, we gained the benefit of natural light over all work surfaces. Since most women prefer to work from right to left, we placed the mixing set.
Yeah, there we go. I was waiting for that moment. Ooh. Since most women prefer to work from right to left.
And if you don't, we have nothing to say to you, and we're
It's
gonna look at you suspiciously.
the thing is, I don't think that this was meant to be a gendered statement. It's just that they were not considering any men in this study. So they're just habitually referring to, the women, the ones who work in the kitchen, right? I
Yeah.
think that's what they meant. But it sounds very much like what they meant is, well, women like to work from right to left. Am I right, guys? Fellas? Put the kids to bed. I work blue. Like, it's such a weird assertion to make in that, not people. I mean, I guess they'd only spoken to women in this context, so maybe they don't know. Maybe they were trying to be specific on purpose. We didn't ask any men, so we can't just say people. And yeah, it does make you wonder, is it a lefty-righty thing, or is, for some reason, are people just, do they prefer to work from right to left? I ask myself, is that true? And I look at my kitchen and I'm like, well, in practical terms, that is what happens there. But it's because I built my kitchen and I happened to put the stove where the gas outlet was, which is where it was set 70 years ago. So I don't know that I can really say for sure. But yes, I do happen to do my prep on the right and then move over to the left as I continue the prep process. So maybe there's something to it. But it comes off as just being a bizarrely gendered statement.
It is, and honestly, I'm honestly embarrassed that how little I've been thinking about gender, thinking about like land use and housing policy.
Oh, it's
Also,
inseparable.
Weird like overhead bins energy.
Oh,
like,
we'll get to those. Don't worry. Those will come up. I do like the early plastic cover for the mixer.
yeah.
It's got to be vinyl. It's got to just be like early PVC because I don't think of 1949 as being a year when we had a lot of flexible plastic in the home.
No, I
So
don't
yeah,
know. It
intriguing.
was getting to be. It was like a big push.
Yeah. Anyway,
Since most women prefer to work from right to left, we placed the mixing center in the right leg of the U,
mixing center.
between the refrigerator
Yo, post your battle
and the sink
station.
center.
Well, honestly, hey, this is a battle station far more impressive than anything with a CPU in it.
Agreed.
I mean, consider that, battle stations and you can feed a battalion out of this kitchen.
Yeah.
In the mixing
Yeah.
center, as in
Oh,
all
wow,
other
that's
work
so
areas,
good.
we
want
planned
that.
storage facilities to take care of all of the supplies and the equipment used in that center.
Look at that frigid air. Yeah, all the vertical pans, right? You're jealous.
I am. Oh, I mean,
I'm sorry.
well, you gotta get your husband to reach up there and get that shit out of the tall zone. Like,
Let's do actually for a moment talk about the two bread pans that are stacked so the trapezoids intersect.
yeah. Well, I hope this kitchen comes with a step stool because, like, as a short person, I'm just looking at this like.
Can we also? I'm sorry.
No.
Let's also talk about the knife block. I'm really
Yeah.
enjoying this quarter circle knife block.
The radial knife block.
Yeah. The cookbook holder is interesting, except that it's only about 1.5 inches deep. It looks like, and so no Better Homes and Gardens cookbook would ever have fit in there.
All hands to the mixing station. All robots to the dance floor energy.
Yeah, the klaxon goes off, and yeah.
These revolving corner shelves make it possible to store the heavy and frequently used foods near working level.
Now, I've seen lots of radial shelves, but I've never seen it done like this. And again,
It's the full height of the cabinet.
yeah, and that's kind of cool.
Roomy enough to hold all of the staple supplies used here.
Look at all that McCormick.
Just below counter level, shallow drawers give handy access to small equipment used.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. Did kitchens not used to have drawers? I have to assume that they had a small silverware drawer. That must have been universal, but it makes me worry. Now, I've lived in several houses that were built in the 30s, and they had drawers
They had
like this.
drawers.
However, they might not have had them when they were built. I don't know.
I don't know. I
because
definitely used a bunch of like, once again, returning to unwillingly to the Boston kitchens. Like, there were some extremely like late 19th, early 20th ass cabinetry in those kitchens, and it was miserable, but it existed.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean
Yeah, I'm
it's
not
okay.
calling this
So
historic innovation.
so Caitlin's making the assertion that they're shallower, right, rather than being as deep as the one we see on the right there, for instance. So okay, that's a notion. Um, the question is 800. The question I have is, your kitchen's from 1900. Do you actually know for a fact that the kitchen is from 1900? Just because the house is doesn't mean they didn't rip out the kitchen in 1939 and rebuild it, or 1952.
I
Um,
don't think so, because I'm thinking of like kitchens that had like loads of wooden built-ins and also had like the wood was so old and like there was horsehair plaster built around the wooden built-ins in the walls of the kitchen.
okay.
If y'all know what horsehair plaster is,
Yeah.
it's basically the cursed Victorian version of carbon fiber. You,
Yeah, it doesn't sound like fun. So okay, I mean I'll give you that. So again, it seems like an odd assertion.
In the mixing center.
The mixing center.
Even in the best of kitchens, one will have to stoop sometimes. Store here only things used occasionally, like picnic supplies, extra large baking utensils, and odds and ends. See how easy it is to get at what you want.
inexpressibly post-war.
We
about those
designed the smaller
drawers.
top shelf for long-handled pans to allow full use of the shelf space below.
It is very post-war, and I think the reason for that is just that during the war, while there was a push for efficiency and maximum production, it would have been do your best with what you already have. Everything else is already spoken for, right?
But these are
Post-war,
nice plastic moldings with like a whiff of the aerodynamic and populux about them.
I mean that, not just in design, but like people had the money to do and the time to do a complete remodel, right? Perhaps not
Yeah.
necessarily the farmers as much, but it was still probably better than it was during the war.
Space ordinarily wasted is utilized to
Here we
advantage
go.
by these built-in bins
Okay.
for flour and sugar.
Now I don't like these.
Space for advantage.
So
What?
so
I'm just okay. You open these up and just like a fountain of tribbles comes out.
right. So yes, they are the tribble cabinets, I agree. I don't like this. And I don't like it for a variety of reasons, one of which is horrifying, and you haven't seen it yet. I'm
Well,
pretty sure it's in this
I'm
video.
just picturing some pretty distinct failure modes here. Also, how do you keep bugs out of them?
Right, and that's where we get to, right? What happens if you sneeze one time in the vicinity of this thing? Like, if you sneeze anywhere in the kitchen, um, your spit is going to find its way in here. It's going to become moldy, and there's no way to empty these thoroughly. There's no way to inspect them, right?
The
I
worst
think
part is that I bake a lot and I want these, but I know they're a terrible idea.
if they see in a post-plastic era, this is on its way. You can see there's plastic scoops in there and whatnot, but the sort of plastic we have now that can do everything, right? Silicone and highly flexible PVC and whatnot might have been able to make some sort of like snap fit cover over these that would make them make sense. And I think she might demonstrate that these could be lifted out for cleaning. But the problem is, each one of those stores, what, 5 pounds of goods? You're gonna have to go through the whole thing and empty it. You're never going to proactively clean these. It's not practical, you know. Okay, so but it gets worse. It does get worse. Please let us watch this next part solemnly. If I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I remember this part of the video as terrifying me so much I blocked out the memory except for a feeling.
Alrighty.
Another advantage is that they eliminate canisters, which take up counter surface. Behind the door, a container holding 40 pounds of flour feeds into the smaller bin below.
What?
I don't think they show you, but yes, supposedly the cabinet above the flour bin has a 40-pound sack of flour in it, which somehow
This
you
is like an
dispense
outtake
into it.
from. This is an outtake from E.M. Forster's The Machine Stops. That there's like, something just constantly replenishing your bin with flour.
Uh-huh.
Like, I want this to be real, but I
You-
don't buy it.
You
for
you
a
you
frickin'
open the
second.
bin, you open your flour bin, and it's full of blood. Is basically what we're driving at here.
Well, I mean, also you open your bin and like, the refilling mechanism misfires.
Right.
And like,
Absolutely.
half a pound of flour goes down onto your countertop.
Right. You open it and just right? Yeah.
Avery
Yeah.
ass kitchen.
A 50-pound bag of flour weighs a ton. I mean, they weigh about 50 pounds.
Yes, it is full of flour weevils.
It's gonna be completely packed. That you open it, you open it, you get a big scoop of tube grubs, and so you can go feed your Ferengi husband.
The flour truck is right behind the heating oil truck.
I mean, look, they're wasting time here, right? The truck should just pull up next to your house. It fits a hose onto the side and just blasts in a bunch of flour under compressed air, like how they refill CO2 tanks.
I also buy flour in 20-pound bags, but like, then I like wrap
They're
them up really
sealed.
tightly and
Yeah,
stuff.
you wrap them up. This is a pre-saran wrap, pre-silicone seals. And this is a farm. For Christ's sake, I don't think it would go well. I grew up.
I also want to have a dust explosion in my kitchen.
Wait, it's realistic. There's enough flour in there. There's enough flour in there that if the mechanism failed and it all just poured out onto the counter, it would create enough dust that if you had a pot sitting on the stove simmering, it could totally blow up your whole kitchen.
Yo, yeah, I'm gonna call up Central Services on the rotary phone and have them run a soup duct into here.
On the evening of July 1st, 1949, a woman was cooking and the CSP is going to do an investigation into the flour dust explosion at this farmhouse.
Yeah, extremely. It's going to be listed on the Wikipedia page of largest non-nuclear man-made explosion.
It's Jennifer's house.
Jennifer's
It's
the Klatsep family.
I love how a lot of the time Hudson, that's good. A lot of the time, yes, but if you dump it out of the paper sack into a bin that's open to the air, which it has to be in order to feed into the lower bin, and then the lower bin is also open to the air, I'm sorry, but you're gonna get weevils. Man, I grew up in a house built in the 70s in an extremely ho-hum suburb. Not out in the boonies at all, and we still got weevils. They get in. I don't know how they got in, but they got in.
But I sure as hell had paper moths.
Yeah. The bin is awful, and the cupboard is awful. I hate it. I like how this is a thing. I can't give any other handy examples right now, but totally, if you watch films like this, you'll be like, that's a great idea, that's a great idea, that's a great idea. Oh, and there's the asbestos, right? Like it's if you get far enough into any of these like 40s 50s films, it can all sound very reasonable, and then you discover the dark
To be
truth.
clear, I want to buy this fantasy that they're selling me. Like, I spend a lot of time in the kitchen.
Oh,
like,
the rest of it's probably fine. I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm also just mad that this woman literally cannot reach her pans. Like, she cannot reach her pans.
Step stools were very common in kitchens.
I mean, I have one now, but that's, again, because I'm like 5 feet nothing.
Top shelf space is used to good advantage by vertical files for baking pans. This does away with stacking and with stooping or excessive reaching.
Hey!
This mixing
Okay,
center,
all right.
like
not
the
bad.
other centers in our kitchen,
Kind of hope there's like a
embodies
Dymo
all
labeler
the principles
there.
of good planning.
You're just reaching blindly up
Thus
into
it
that pipe.
has plenty of work surface at comfortable heights, well lighted by natural and artificial lighting, with everything needed stored within easy reach.
This is such a high
For
angle.
sitting at work, this pull-out board at lap level, 26 inches above the floor, gives a good working height. It permits a woman to sit comfortably in an ordinary kitchen chair with a good backrest, her feet flat on the floor while she's working at long and tedious.
Yeah, so
This is a good idea.
it is, and the
It's like
thing
an
is that
ergonomic training
this
video.
has been around for this has been around for eons, and I've never seen anyone do it. You can sit in the kitchen if you want, but you just do a lot of sitting down, standing up, sitting down, standing up. Now, the idea is, I think that we're going to find out in a moment here, but I'm pretty sure she's doing some sort of long form activity. Let's look at it.
Jobs.
By the way, I should tip out in about 20 minutes. So
That's
we should
fine.
probably-
We'll be done.
To supply additional work surface in food preservation, the table from the planning center can be easily
Oh, I
rolled
think she's like
over
freezing
and placed
spinach
next to the pull-out board.
or something.
Yeah. Back when like preservation was a thing,
and-
much more active.
And she's heat sealing it. And do you
Yeah.
see this little jig? Again, factory energy. Look at this little jig.
Yeah.
It's like it's got a little space for a pre-sized box to fit in so that you can fold over the plastic, lay it down, and then it provides a anvil against which to press the iron.
There's beauty in that.
To the left of the mixing counter is the vegetable preparation and dishwashing
Potatoes,
sector,
onions. There they are.
with knife rack and utensil cupboard at the right.
Oh, and then of course the
vegetables in
trash
front of
plug
her,
in the
and
counter.
sink at the left. This worker has a step-saving
It does,
setup
it does.
for
It has,
preparing
like, a-
vegetables.
Cafeteria trash plug.
Which
A
again,
garbage hatch in the
you know,
counter
cool.
eliminates stooping
Yeah.
and avoids repeated handling.
Look
of
at the
garbage.
galvanized steel.
That's gonna look good for all of 10 minutes, but
Uh-huh.
The pail in the
still, who
metal-lined
cares?
compartment below can be removed for emptying from the outside through an insulated door
I
in
mean,
the wall.
it's such a pain to use a compost bin.
Wait, I need to ask. I'm sorry, Bacon Mage. Did the narration actually say this worker? Did it say that?
God,
It may have. I may have missed it.
class consciousness among American farm wives. Yeah.
There it is, right? Yeah. This this worker has many potatoes to peel before clocking out at exactly 5 p.m. for her 8 hours to do with as she will.
It is this worker's duty to continue peeling carrots for the collective.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Breathtaking.
at least worker is gender neutral.
All bins and the compartments into which they fit are designed.
She's about to say they're designed to come out for washing, but I do just want you to look at the situation behind there.
Yeah.
Even at
literally
this resolution and everything, it just looks caked in dirt. It looks like it's caked in dirt and oxides, and that's a galvanized steel box, and I'm just imagining the zinc plating flaking off into your potatoes and onions and flour.
Designed for easy cleaning.
That rag's gonna come away black.
I mean, if that was like some kind of like, smooth, injection molded plastic, like that would this would be like a little bit more forgivable.
That would
And
work,
I want
or
that.
it'd be good, but I just can't imagine keeping my potatoes in a galvanized bin.
So here's the thing, like
In
we
the
should
cooking and
next time we
serving
do this, if we do this, and like, of course I cursed your stream, like we should talk about archigram, and everyone
Archigram.
should Google archigram later on. They
Archigram.
are, yeah.
Okay, let's
like
not lose
architecture.
focus, but you're probably right.
Center are all of the supplies and equipment.
Okay, now we do have to pause here for a moment to talk about something that probably I feel like a good number of people here are going to go, oh yeah, of course, and then a good number of people are going to be absolutely, completely blown back in their seat by it. That is a recessed pressure cooker in the stove.
What?
So for a period of about 20 to 30 years, from no longer than that, I think from the 30s, like late 30s, up through the 60s, General Electric and other companies would sell you a stove with a recessed cooker. We are now going to look at this. Because this is the most interesting. When I first watched this video like seven or 8 years ago, this was the thing that really hit me about it. Wow, what the hell? These are not my searches. Portland Church Anti-Fat, NFL Canada Border Crossings, bodybuilding Sean Meadows. This is a VM that, okay, they're trending searches. That's why it's showing it. I'm like, those aren't mine. Apple
Yeah, I was
iPhone
like, these
13
are
Pro
I've
Max
known you for
release date.
years. This is not who
Um,
you are.
wow. I'm just looking at this Portland Church Anti-Fat. I did not search that. Um, it's jarring.
No,
I'm sorry. GE. What?
What's this thing?
Deep well. I think that's what we're looking for. Yeah. So this guy here. This has got it. That one in the rear left there. That's the pressure cooker. Here's one up close. There you go. And there we go. That's what I'm looking for. See. Okay. So it comes out, right? Let me open this image. You're kidding me. There's no option to open image in new tab. Gotta be kidding me. Here we go. All right. So this is how it works, right? So you've got a well down here, and the whole thing goes down into the well, and there's a burner down in the bottom, right? So and you'll notice also there's this slot here, and that's because there's a lever that allows you to ratchet the entire thing up to deck level, so you can use it as a normal burner. It'll do either one. Now, you could get a bunch of accessories for this, and for the sake of time, I'm just going to summarize here. Not only could you get a pressure cooker for it, and I'm not sure if this is the pressure cooker or just the simmer pot. I think this is just the simmer pot, but you could get a pressure cooker for it. You could get a deep fryer for it, which is terrifying. You could get, I think, a cotton candy maker or something like that. I think I read. There was a couple other interesting accessories. And then you'll also notice there is an electrical outlet on the stove on the front. And the reason for that...
fully sent by the sort of aviation look on this...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This thing looks like it's unsafe at any speed.
Yeah.
Corvair
stove.
Exactly, right? Yeah, if you were to be struck by this stove, or if you were to strike something in this stove at more than 20 miles an hour, you'd almost certainly be killed.
Yeah. A piece of sheet metal would automatically fold itself into a dagger and stab you.
So the electrical outlet on the stove is actually an accessory for the deep well, because what you can do is you can put something in there. I don't remember what type of pot it is, but you can put something in there with a lid that has a stirrer built into it, an electric motor with a stirrer. And you plug it into the electrical outlet, and it rotisseries your stew or whatever. So fascinating ideas, all completely dead to time. And
hold up, I just need to like this is objectively fascinating, but because I do bad things and make bad decisions that reflect a lack of care for myself, I just rewatched Moonraker, where James Bond and this woman who deserved better than being in a James Bond movie get they're imprisoned underneath a space shuttle's rocket engines that are about to get lit off, and it's oh, you're trapped, goodbye, Mr. Bond. And I'm just imagining a bug villain trapping someone in in a little jail at the base of the deep well cooker.
Yes.
And that's the rocket engine.
Okay, this appears to be a completely new thing. Holy crap, what did I just find here? We don't have time to go off in this direction, but what on earth could be the explanation for this image?
Yeah, wow, that's so much.
This is a chamber stove. I'm going to have to come back to that. I'll report back on that one, folks. But anyway, yeah. So, these were popular for a long time, and then they just disappeared, never came back. And many of them don't. Many people do not remember them because they were dead long before. They were dead 20 years before I was born. But the idea was just that I think just that you didn't have the pan sticking all the way out above the stove, so you could take the lid off and look down into it easily, and you didn't have to lift your potatoes up in the air and dump them in. You could hold them in a more comfortable height. So
used at the range. Right above the range are bins built into the wall for foods such as cereals that go directly into boiling water, and also for seasonings that are used at the range.
Once again, we have this sort of aviation control panel aspect of things.
Yeah, it has a big energy.
Tina. Not just Farina, but also Wheatina.
Oh my god.
God. All right. Well, this is fun while it lasted.
It does not end. It does not end. There is always something. I have to say, we made it much further than I expected. We only have a couple minutes here left, so I'm just gonna fire this back up and see if I can get this going without too much nonsense. Yeah, I guess you'll have to reconnect to the team viewer, but I want to finish this video.
Also, someone says, "I see you also with James Bond," and yes, I do. James Bond. Like,
Um,
I love Kill James Bond.
It's not really on brand for me, but like I wish I could do a video about this film and things like it. And I don't really know how to like pivot.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to pivot.
It's true
to
it's
do
like
that
a
sort of
drastic-
thing. Oh, it's a huge difference, right? So it would be a shock to my particular viewers, and I also don't know if I just have the chops to do that sort of long form commentary. But if you ever wonder what I want to do with my time that I'm not doing already, that's definitely one of the biggies. It's stuff like this.
you want to do deep dives into the kitchens of the past, which is like legit as hell, honestly, because like that's where like huge numbers of people spent their working lives, and like the sort of material of those environments and objects in them like are an understudied aspect of sort of human experience. Do you have the team viewer up and running?
I do. I'm sending it to you right now.
I think I got it.
Mm-hmm.
I should be authenticating at this.
Awaiting authentication. Soon we'll be authenticated.
At least I'm not validated. Yeah, it worked.
All right. Let me turn off your remote control.
Still in this postage stamp, but that's cool.
Gosh, this is all so ridiculous. All
Great.
right, let's finish this video. It's much louder than it was before. Why? Hey,
Notice
Killer.
how these doors
Thanks for
fold
coming by.
back, safely out of the way. Serving dishes and range utensils are close at hand. The serving counter next to the range is convenient to the dish cupboards. Sliding doors back of this counter and cupboard give access from the
I
dining
really just
room
want
side.
there to be a cooking control panel and on my stove. Really good. That would flatter all my illusions about the cooking process.
I also love the intestine-style stove burners they used to use.
Yeah, very good.
In the dishwashing
I mean, this is
center,
production. We're doing
dishes
production
are
here.
scraped directly into the garbage hatch and stacked ready for washing. A double bowl
Stacked
sink
ready for washing because we don't have
provides
anything
for
so
both washing and
dishwasher.
draining.
Yeah.
The one on the right is shallow, about 5
you don't.
inches deep, making for a comfortable height for dishwashing. The drainer hangs across the deeper bowl.
you gotta rinse
with
that.
room at the side
There's soap
for
on there.
emptying
You gotta
liquid.
rinse it.
This bowl,
I'm trying to remember if
because of
she's
its
going
depth,
to.
8 inches, is also satisfactory for washing
doesn't
large
have, like, a spray
quantities
gun
of
either.
fruits and vegetables. Just back of the faucets is a cupboard for storing soaps and cleaning supplies. Extra supplies
Okay, dang, that's
and a
really
handy
nice.
wastepaper basket
I
want
are
that.
kept under the sink.
'Cause-
I like the finality.
Yeah, and also like
After
she's
they're
separating her
scalded and dried.
compostable long before I thought about it this term.
Is that
these
necessary? Would yeah, I feel like farms probably were doing that before anybody else.
Oh yeah, totes.
Silver, glass, and dishes
Oh, you'd
are
want to feed
stored
the
in
pigs.
adjoining
Like,
cupboards.
you'd feed animal scrap.
Actually, hang on. Can we talk about the absolute army of silverware they have? Do you think they've got 16 kids? Because I feel like they probably have 16 kids. I'm sorry, did
dog,
I say
they have
kids? I meant
16
farm hands.
Yeah, I was gonna say they have 16 braceros, dude. Like they have 16 like low-paid farmhands.
Oh, I was referring to the kids as the farm hands.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that too.
Here's a handy rack for drying dish towels.
I have questions about this. I don't like this either. Um,
Wait, what?
yeah, it's a dish towel rack. So you put the towels on there, but they're nested, and the idea is they're supposed to dry there. Now, first
No.
off,
It's next to. I guess it's next to the oven, but I just think of like pulling out that train.
the mustiness.
Yeah.
It's just you're gonna pull it open. It's gonna be like. It's
Now
gonna be this
entering mildew
awful-
zone.
Yeah, it's gonna be so rough. Okay, yes, if you left it out, but then think about it. If they're touching each other over like 3/4 of their surface, are they going to effectively dry? It doesn't feel like they will.
Yeah, big shout out to Dragonhead for the mildew nook.
Yes,
Real,
it's the mildew nook.
It does require a duct.
Yeah,
we need to
there
like
should-
duct waste heat from there,
Yeah.
from the oven into the mildew nook.
you should hit a couple little plugs there should be a couple little plugs in the counter right above it. You pull them out to provide, updraft, but I don't think that's going to happen. Let's see. Nope. Yeah, she closes it. I hate it. I admit it. I
Out
do.
of the way of meal preparation is this storage closet. Besides cleaning equipment, it has a rack for first aid supplies, convenient for emergencies. The upper section is reserved for a few jars of canned foods, saving trips
Yeah,
to
bro,
the
I
food
keep my
storage
IFAC in this cupboard.
This serving counter, adjacent to the range, is convenient to both the dining room and the kitchen dining table. This attracts
So I think a lot about the kind of experience crafting that was built into this whole mentality here, right? Like just the fact that serving dessert with all this mise en scene, the complete the pressed glass plate with the little hold, cup on it to hold the. I've never seen anyone serve anything like that. Cake, splotch of, berries, go. You're done. It's delicious. Enjoy, right? And the whole the whole presentation, the plating, the idea of implementing that in a household setting is just wild. And now we've said all those things. All those things sound great, and none of it matters because all of us have been ignoring the tile work behind them that looks like some paper towels.
Yeah, or it looks like a subway map.
Yeah, get up on that. Get up on that, right?
I want it.
Wow. It's just.
Also, I can't shake the sense that it's like the patriarch Red from that 70s show only 30 years earlier.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. My first thought, and I realize this is just prejudice because of the khaki shirt. My immediate thought was, and there's the soldier who came home from the war to his adoring wife and 7 kids.
Yes.
But I think I'm just going off the shirt.
active dining space has been planned to be compact but not cramped. It gives ample room for a table that can be extended to seat 6 comfortably.
Yeah, of course they got the leaf table.
A ledge under the large picture window is wide enough to hold the electrical equipment used at the table. Shelves below give
Linoleum
convenient
pattern
storage
best described
space.
as bilious.
In this kitchen,
I think Milk in an Open Jug was a song by the Weakerthans, right?
God damn it.
For anybody that doesn't register on, the song is Sun in an Empty Room.
that has made her task of food preparation so much lighter, the housewife
The table is
can
segregated
share
by gender.
her family's enjoyment at
My
mealtime.
God,
I don't
you're
think
right.
that was a thing that would happen automatically. I think that was like a choice that was made.
Anyway, working drawings of this kitchen are available through the Regional Plan Exchange Service.
Oh man, there have to be some really good PDFs. I really hope that the RPES shut down in 1985.
But
because
I also like the idea that you should consult the agricultural engineer at your state agricultural college.
I mean that makes sense. You'd probably have that guy's name, like, on the notepad next to your rotary
Maybe.
phone.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you were like prided yourself on being like a modern, and you would have like, I think basically it's like a time in history when it was and much more acceptable to just call people up and bug them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I am curious about the. Oh man. Oh man. There's no way this is gonna be. I'm not gonna know how to find these blueprints, but you're right that regional plan exchange sir. Okay. Yeah, that was a thing.
By the way, if anyone wants to like look at some other building plans, really weird tangent, but the first detailed maps of urban America were first made by a fire insurance company.
Oh, of course.
And if you go to your public library's website, they might have the plans for your city. They were called the Sanborn Maps by the Sanborn Fire Insurance Company. And like you can find out that there was a bleachery across from your house in 1996.
Oh wow. Also, the home economist who
Wow.
appears in and narrates the film is Lenore E. Sater, who I think might have been running. Hang on, I might be mixing her up with. Like I said, there was another woman running this who looked very similar. No, that's Louise Stanley. Okay, all right. Probably very much in the same mold, just for obvious reasons. But here it is. This is a step-saving U kitchen. Is this a book?
Does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a pamphlet.
Yeah, it's the book form of what we just watched. And there there is a. Yeah, see, this isn't the actual plans. This is just the book version of what we just watched.
Just to motivate you to go get the plans.
But all the same, yeah, I'm sure that we could find the actual blueprints. But hey, for what it's worth, there's a lot of films like this on YouTube at the moment, and someday they're all going to go away, I'm sure, which is a huge bummer. But this one here at least says this is from notionally 1941, and it does. We can resolve the drawer dispute because yeah, this is clearly using a mix of shallow and deep drawers. So that was not novel, but perhaps just not all kitchens were quite designed that way. The one other comment I'd like to make, because I know Rick needs to go, but the one other comment I wanted to make is just about. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Pressure cookers were a massive market segment, apparently. Like, they were pushed really hard, as far as I can tell.
My mom had one in the late 70s or early 80s. I mean, she also had a crock pot, but like...
Those ones also were pushed pretty hard.
I mean, if you had like a stay-at-home, if you were a working mom with one kid, or with a kid at home, and you needed to make sure that that dinner was available when you got home, you were going to be too tired. You have to deal with your kid.
Yeah, the crock pot was a real game changer in that regard, right?
The pressure cooker seemed more of a compromise. It seemed more like of a difficult value proposition.
The purpose of the pressure cooker was to solve a similar but different problem. And
I love animation.
The idea is, here we go, this is what I was looking for. The idea with the pressure cooker is that it allowed you to begin cooking and finish cooking much faster, right? So it just accelerates the cooking time. The idea being that rather than needing to begin cooking a roast at 8 in the morning for it to be done by 6, you could instead start it at 3 and it would still be done by 6 because it just cooked it much, much faster. What is fascinating to me is I don't know that I have ever seen anyone or heard of anyone using a pressure cooker in the way that was recommended when they were new, cooking an entire meal in it simultaneously. So, for instance, I have only ever seen someone put a hunk of meat into one. I have never seen someone do what they're doing here, where they literally have a little set of dividers so that they can pressure cook a bunch of different things simultaneously.
It's like the reverse of an open plan office, but pressure.
And in other cases, I have seen imagery where they just dump everything in there, in little piles, and cook it all separately. Like in this case, it's a jumble, right? I'm stepping through this trying to see if I can find what I was looking for, but yeah,
I do love the style of like American mechanical animation or mechanical like.
Oh right,
motion
yeah.
graphics.
This let's see, where was
That
it?
whole deal. Yeah,
We should have
saw a little bit of, like,
we
the
saw it
source
for a
and-
moment, right? Was it here we go. Yeah, this style of like air, it was all airbrushed is the thing. They were using
Yeah.
they must have been using like little pieces of cardboard to mask off bits and pieces here and there, but
We're all thinking about that YouTube video by the U.S. Navy about differentials.
also, interesting. So, Neil, you're saying you've actually seen this done, with the little dividers. I've never seen it. Never seen it
Oh,
done.
Yeah, I don't remember ever seeing that in the 70s or either at my mom's house or like a friend's house.
So anyway,
Okay, I
right.
got to tip out of here.
yep,
Like,
absolutely.
thank you.
That was a lot of fun. Rick, thank you so much. I'm sorry we didn't do this back when I first said we would. I just got cold feet.
I don't blame you.
But pardon me, hiccups. But it has been wonderful. Thank you everyone for staying on despite all of the difficulty. We had many problems. I might actually go back and edit the video and cut out that segment. I should be able to do that.
I wouldn't blame you. That's
That
extremely
sucked.
legit.
But otherwise, this was a lot of fun. Thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for all your comments. Everybody was very funny, and I always appreciate that. There's no point doing anything if you're not going to make jokes. Jokes are what I'm here for. So
Yeah.
enjoy your weekend,
Thanks,
everyone.
Bob.
Rick,
Be
enjoy
well.
your weekend.